It's December 20th, 2023. I am Actual Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds on Fightful Overbooked, because here we are. Here I am once again. It's time to have some fun. Jeremy Lambert is here, as always, and a packed show today. Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
Well, Joel, how are you?
I am great. A Wednesday is here. There's plenty to talk about, some good stories. We're scheduled to have Missa Kate join us at 11 a.m. Eastern. So in about an hour from now, you may know her from the NWA. She's also a Chicago wrestler. So if you're a Chicago area fan of wrestling, then you've probably seen or heard Missa Kate. And she's a wonderful, wonderful wrestler. So we're looking forward to having her join us in about an hour here on the show. Jeremy, hello.
Hi.
What's the word? How you doing? We haven't spoken since Monday, since our big TNA exclusive.
But that did well. Let's what do we call peel back the curtain, as you like to say, Joel Pearl.
I'm not the one who said that's a you thing, and then it just has become part of the lore of the show. We peel back.
Is it a me thing?
Yeah, you used to say peel back the. Listen, it's a show business thing.
No.
We peel back the curtain. Are we in show business? I don't know. Are we a business that talks about the shows? That is more accurate.
Are we a business at all?
Listen, I have plans and ideas, and I hope y'all will come along with us in 2024, because I have plans and I have business. We're going to get to business later.
I don't know any of this, so it'd be cool if you clued me in if it involves me.
All I want to do is talk with you about this stuff. We just got to.
All I want to do is a zoom on your boom boom.
All I want to do is have some fun. I got a feeling I'm not the only one.
Good song. Ryan Sullivan mentions, very happy for Joel getting that shout out. We are co-opted now, right, Joel? We can't beat these allegations. Maybe we need a lawyer to beat these allegations.
Stop it. Oh God.
We're co-opted by TNA / Impact Wrestling. It can be it'll be officially TNA Wrestling on January 13th. But yeah, we're officially co-opted, right? I mean, We were part of a press release on the TNA website as first broken by Joel Pearl and Jeremy. I don't know why your name's first. My name's first alphabetically, so I'm a little offended by that.
Couldn't tell.
As first broken by us on In the Weeds, Jade Chung is the new TNA Wrestling ring announcer. We're co-opted. I'm sorry, this is an official TNA podcast now. We're going to have to fight Bill and Doug. And
I don't think we'll have much trouble with that.
Doug does a show with Jensen.
I know, but we don't see Bill much anymore. So
yeah, I don't know what Bill's up to.
It's just going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match. I don't think. Okay, I guess this is for now custody of Steven Jensen in this match.
Is that what we're doing? We're doing a custody of Jensen fight?
Yeah, well, it's a Jensen on a pole match. We'll put him up there, and we'll see who wins, and we get custody of Steven Jensen.
Did you bribe them to put your name first, Joel?
No, I think it's just because they reached out to me directly and not anyone else.
Feels like there might be some bribery going on. I got to get the story. What's Sean doing? He can't. This has got to be the biggest story he's working on, right? Is why Joel's name was first in the press release.
I think it's because I host the post Impact show, the soon to be post TNA Impact show. So maybe that's why, because I'm, again, we'll peel back the curtain. A lot of the interviews are gathered or picked up by Jeremy. Jeremy is the one who contacts a lot of the wrestlers that we have. But sometimes I do that. I pick up the wrestlers, and that's what happened with TNA. I started doing more back and forth with TNA and their management and getting the wrestlers for them for whatever shows they have coming up. So they reached out to me directly for this one.
They did. Yes. Oh, we do equal-ish work when it comes to getting guests. I would say I don't want to put you under too much here.
No, but I also, you and I, again, I'll put our process over, is that on Fridays after our show, you and I will sit down, and if we haven't already booked out the week, we'll look at what's coming up in the wrestling world, and we will decide who to reach out to. And sometimes it's me, but most times it's you, because I am a person who does not like being rejected. That is just me, or being left on red or being ignored. That stuff usually bothers me. Whereas I'm pretty sure you don't care. It doesn't bug you as much.
No, because as I've said, I'm sure I've said it on the show. If not, here we go. I'll say it right here. No, I don't care if people say no or if people ignore me because it doesn't hurt me. Like, if you're gonna say no, all right, cool. Like, truthfully, I would prefer if more people said no because every time we get a damn guest, it just creates more work for me. So I would prefer to have nobody, so I do less work. No, I don't care if people say no. Like, I'm reaching out because we do want to talk to these people. We think it'd be good to have them on. We feel they provide value to have them on. And if they're just like, no, not something I want to do, or if they just don't get back to me, cool. Okay. Like, we're gonna do our show regardless. We're gonna keep messaging people regardless. It's not like stuff ends from ours of like, oh no, we didn't get this person. We can't do anything this week. It's just like, no, we just keep doing our show. We don't have anybody. I like getting guests for people. I don't think people just want to hear us for 2 hours every other day. I think the guests break up a nice break of the monotony between us. But if nobody comes on, there's plenty to talk about that we can fill 2 hours. So no, I don't care if people say no. We are working on a couple of names. Hopefully, fingers crossed, come through. That's all. That's also why I like don't say anything until they're like on the screen because I'm always very worried about like, yeah, we're gonna tease this and then they don't show up. That's legitimately only happened once. But Janela was the only one, right?
Yeah, Janelle's the only one, and then he showed
Yeah,
up. He got back to us and was like, "Oh, stuff happened. Let's come back to
yeah.
this," and he did. And Bruce Hart showed up and had a wonderful conversation with us.
We've invited The Rock on, I feel
You
I've
have,
publicly asked The
yes,
Rock. I'm waiting for Top Dollar. I haven't actually, like, sent an official invite for Top Dollar. I do want Top Dollar
yeah.
on. I do wanna battle rap him.
Let's do it. Again, I said it on Monday. Let's do that. And then MXM, Mason or the Mason and Mansoir,
Yeah,
we want them as well, but they're on like everyone
they're
else's.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like the dream's not dead. The dream is just on hold because they're out there. I'm still, like, again, I put it out there. Mike Rallis, you are the dude that I'm after. Madcap Mike, you and your lovely wife Tennille. Now that you two are doing a travel show, you announced it. It's out there in the ethos. I
Uh-huh.
want to talk to the two of you about the travel show, about traveling, about doing YouTube travel stuff, because that's shit that I like to talk about. Like, when Jeremy and Steven had me on the creator spotlight, Jensen asked me, what kind of creators are you watching on YouTube? And I said travel creators. I was talking about Drew Binsky and Kara and Nate and Eamon and Beck and all those, couple travel vloggers. And I was like, I like those people. I want to talk about that. So that's my pitch for Mike Rallis and Tennille Dashwood to come and join us.
We always say this, like, we'll have you on to talk wrestling. That's cool. I don't actually care to talk wrestling with any of these people.
I get it. Like Louis saying in the chat, get Goldberg. I would love Goldberg for so many reasons. Like, that is part of my childhood, both as a wrestling fan and as a Jew. And then later on, like, we got to crack so many jokes, sometimes at his expense, about his career. And I want to pick his brain about a lot of things that aren't just wrestling.
I don't know if we can get Goldberg. I mean, I can ask. I'm not afraid to ask any of these people. Like, again, I want to make that. I just said it. Like, I'm not afraid to ask because the worst thing they're going to do is say no or they're going to ignore me. Okay, sure. Like, doesn't affect me at all. Like, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Fine, but can ask. Oh yeah. Well, I'll ask Goldberg. We'll see if we can get Goldberg.
There you go. And I'll ask you all to leave a thumbs up on the video and, of course, subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked because we're on our way to 15,000 subscribers. Tell you what, I think we're 95 subscribers away from 15,000. That's my year-end goal. We've got 10, 11 days left in the year. Let's make it happen. Tell your friends, make a Google account. I don't care how you do it. Just get us to 15,000, would you? Because that's all I want for the end of this year. Make my holidays happy. Okay, that's all I want. And of course, you can donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air, and of course, supports us here at Fightful Overbooked.
Create fake accounts and just sign up and subscribe to the channel. That's what Joel is asking.
Listen, our pal Cher Delaware has 18 YouTube accounts according to her, and she's like, I subscribed to the Fightful one with that, and I said, good, do it for us too. And she's like, nah. And I said,
She's
okay.
part of this channel.
That's the problem. She's part of this channel, and it's fine. Where do you want to start?
We're gonna talk about cocaine later on. You ready for that?
Absolutely
Excited about that.
Yeah, if we bring on bots for our channel, Tony Khan's going to be very mad at us.
A-Shock is in the chat all the time.
It's true. A-Shock is like, he's showing up on it. I'm sorry, I'm assuming gender. A-Shock shows up. First of all, they're AI, so I don't even think there is a gender associated, but they show up on every show.
Man. You've seen these like robot women who are going to replace real women?
Yeah, who do you think's behind it? It's the guy who also ruined Twitter.
Yeah, what a concept. Just... how do I put this diplomatically?
It ain't for you, brother. How about that?
Do they fuck? Like,
at least we're 11 minutes in.
You know, like,
is this, by the way, is this why we'll never get a deal with SiriusXM? Is because we swear in the first 15 minutes of the show? Is this why we can't overtake Busted Open? It's not because of the longevity, it's because of the content warnings.
Like, do they put like a fleshlight there so you can like fuck it? I'm just asking.
Stop it.
What?
Stop it.
I'm asking the real questions that people want to know.
They find a way.
These are things that I want to know.
So I'm going to bring up two things. First of all, Alan in the chat mentioned he just wants to collect your DNA. That's actually like a viable like situation that we could be looking at, is that he's just trying to collect your DNA. They'll send it to I don't know, some sort of content farm that they have, or some data farm that they have out in the middle of nowhere. Like tinfoil hat on, man. That is a very good possibility that they're going to collect your DNA. They're going to somehow, that thing's going to be filled with different, processors and different, I don't know, just some ways to do it. Some ways to get all your information.
I mean, the phones do that. I don't need a robot hanging around.
They don't get your DNA samples. They just get your eyeballs. They get that. I've had, whatever, I'm not going to get into that. And then Alan also asked us, why don't we do memberships like the main channel? We've talked about doing YouTube memberships. We are investigating this. If this is something that people want, then we'll do it. Of course, that comes with more content that we would release. Stop laughing about this.
I'm not laughing about the membership.
I know you're laughing.
I'm laughing about Jerry wants to fill it with this DNA.
Oh no. Oh God, no. You are married with children.
I am. That's a show.
It's a good show.
I'm not asking for myself. I have a beautiful, lovely wife who is the greatest person in the world. I don't need a robot female, but some people might be hard up and might want a robot female companion, and I'm asking the hard questions for them.
Please just pay a human. Just pay a human.
Pay a human?
If you want, listen, if you're going to pay to buy
but like they
robot,
won't cook and clean if you pay the human that you're talking about paying.
I mean, some people will if you pay them enough. And I'm not
that's the old Chris Rock joke of like, oh, I'll do anything you want for $60. And he's like, bitch, paint my house.
Those blinces were terrible. Paint my chicken coop. Make me.
Oh, you can't pay a human to do that. I mean, you can, like, then you gotta pay like a bunch of different humans to do a bunch of, like, then you're talking about like a maid, a painter.
What are we doing?
Well, I'm asking the hard questions here.
This is, oh my goodness. Listen, how about we get ourselves a sponsor first, and then we'll go. Alex, someone on Twitch is like, what is this conversation? That is a good question. It's not the conversation I started, that's for sure.
There are robot women. All right. This is a real thing that I saw on Twitter.
Yeah, this is something going on.
Yeah, this is a real thing. I don't know. I didn't look too much into it because I don't have a use for it. But the tagline of this is like women will become obsolete. This is the legitimate tagline, by the way. It's like women will become obsolete because of these robot women. And I'm just thinking like, well, that's probably not true at all. Like you can't. Yeah.
It just got a.
That's the question that I feel a lot of people are gonna have, right?
Yes, most men will first ask the question, "Can I stick my dick in it?" There's a whole subreddit called "Don't Stick Your Dick in That," and it's currently that.
Oh, this is, by the way, 100% true. Here's the truth. Women told me men it all.
No,
No,
it's true.
men are the
That's ridiculous.
fucking worst. Are you kidding me? This is the problem. This is the problem with men, by the way, Joel, is if they created a robot man, women would not be like, oh, does it have a dick? Like, that would not be their question at all. They'd probably just be like, cool, something I don't have to spend my money on and something that won't sit around to do nothing to support me. Like, great.
Will it do the things that I don't want to do, like around the house, or the errands that I don't want to run?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would do that with any robot. By the way, the anonymous general manager for ITW has already messaged me multiple times saying, what is this news? I have no idea what robot stuff is going on. I said, you've got to stop this man. And she said, oh, he's too far gone. And I haven't seen any of this. I'm hearing it echoing down the hallways about robots and having intercourse with them.
I'm asking the tough questions. That's all. That's all. This is factual by Troy, by the way. Humans were a mistake. The male demographic is just, we're not good. Like, we're not. Can I ruin the robot's credit?
Can it apply for a credit card? The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
All of this was a mistake. All of it.
This show was a mistake.
Oh, that's true.
107 episodes of mistakes.
That's 100% true.
Anyway,
I feel like that's a bit, isn't it, Ryan? Of somebody just being like, "Oh, can I fuck it?" Like, isn't that like a comedian bit that someone does, or am I just
no? It has
out of. I feel like it. I think of like I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Like, you can milk anything with nipples. Like, I feel like but I feel like there's a bit of like, all right, well, can I fuck that? Like, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong.
We're gonna get golden dollar signs so hard it's not even funny.
Yeah, he says it is. Can't remember whose it is either. I knew it was. I can't. Someone in the chat maybe can recall it. Men can already buy automatic jack off machines on Amazon. Is that a thing?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're just they exist.
Hold on. What?
Yeah, no, it exists.
Hold on.
Yeah, no, it does.
What do you search for that? Like, oh, by the way, I go to Amazon. It's like, we need to make sure you're not a robot. That's the first thing I get. I've never seen this.
Well, because you might try to have sex with it.
On Amazon. Can I fuck Amazon?
Good God. This show is so far gone. It's not even funny. I don't even think we're going to talk about wrestling at this point.
Who cares?
Can the
robots There's other shows for that.
That's true. Can the robots bang each other?
Automatic jerk off machine.
I wouldn't do it on Amazon. I'd literally pick anywhere else.
Oh my! We're gonna try Amazon and see what happens. It just gives me a Keurig. I think. Can I fuck the coffee maker?
Yeah, in the there are a couple spots, but it's mostly where you put the things, the pods.
No, it doesn't. The BFF Pro is that? Hold on, look at this thing. I don't know what this thing actually is. Stress relief, relaxation, warms muscles. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's It's like a massage machine here, but like
They always used to be called massagers.
yeah. Look at this thing, Joel. Hold on. Let me take this photo and upload it.
No, please don't. Oh, oh my goodness.
Hold on. Hold on.
If you made it this far, I'm so sorry.
Look at this thing.
What,
Hold on.
oh no.
Look, the BFF Pro.
That's a pretty girthy looking BFF. Oh my god.
That looks like it's good for men and women, right? Like
probably. Listen,
yeah.
it goes anywhere. Good lord. I'm already getting DMs being like, I want to pitch a new show for you guys. It's called Off the Rails. We do. It's called In the Weeds. It's literally called
Off the Rails. No, we'll talk about that with Missa Kate. What?
I saw that one coming.
Did they not do cocaine on the pay-per-view?
Was it working cocaine or was it shoot cocaine? Let's get an answer.
So anyway, professional wrestling.
So Joel, what?
I spent my Monday night listening to this lawyer.
Oh no. Yeah, let's go.
I knew the name Stephen P. New from the Jim Cornette stuff when he got into a big brouhaha with who was it? Shit. One of the deathmatch guys. I forget his name. I'm sorry. He had the big nasty cut on his arm from a ladder match too. I apologize for getting his name. But I knew the name Stephen P. New from that because Cornette made a whole deal about that, or the guy made a deal about that. The guy made a deal about that, and like Cornette tried to sue him, and so Stephen P. New was the lawyer for that thing. So I knew he existed years ago. It was like 2019. It was before the pandemic. So I knew he existed like years ago. I didn't realize he was still around. Apparently, not only is he still around, but like he's the lawyer for CM Punk and Ace Steel. And he did this interview, alleged interview, where he's talking about whatever he could talk about. He couldn't talk about a whole lot. One of the questions was legitimately like, do you think Punk and Ace Steel liked you because you were basically a mark? And he's like, yeah, that probably didn't hurt my chances. It's like, what? And the other question was like, do you think it, like, if it got to a deposition, like you were going to be battling against people you didn't like wrestlers you don't like, would you have asked them like, hey, how many super kicks is too many super kicks in a wrestling match? Would you have asked that questions if it got to trial? It's like, huh? This is like real lawyer stuff. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I just pretend to play one on this show. I was a mock trial lawyer actually in like 5th grade and I won. So theoretically or on record, I'm undefeated in lawyer.
Jeremy Lambert Esquire over here.
I won the law of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. That was the mock trial.
Who were you representing?
No. You know who it was? It wasn't Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It was the Big Bad Wolf. I was representing the Big Bad Wolf.
Wow.
And the allegations were that he blew the house down and I won. I successfully defended the Big Bad Wolf in 5th grade. So there you go. Put it on the record books. That's about as legit as a lawyer for Ace Steel and CM Punk based on this interview that I listened to.
Good Lord.
I didn't realize this was like a thing. Like, I didn't know this was a thing of you can just be a wrestling lawyer. And it was fascinating listening to this interview. I hope we don't get sued off of commenting on this. Reportedly, alleged. There, I want to cover all my bases. It was a fascinating interview. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it was fascinating.
I mean, he's been out there for a while. This guy, the Stephen New, right? He used to advertise on Conrad's podcast back in the day. and I don't know if he still does, because honestly, I don't listen to many, if any, Conrad podcasts, but he's been out there and he's always been the wrestler's lawyer. And then he got very much attached to Cornette and the stuff that he does. And it ain't for me. So it is what it is. I think I've
It's
said
not
this
for me
before.
either, but unfortunately, I gotta write about the news.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, it's not for me, but in your case, you know, you're covering it because it is a news piece, that is an interview that is worth covering, because it's also talking about some very important news from the last year. Yeah, I got to read some of this. I perused it during Raw, and I kind of just put I put the screen down, and I said, nope, we're good. Some of this, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And other that, listen, I'm a Jew. I'm surrounded by lawyers like all the time. Okay. If they ain't lawyers, they're doctors. If they ain't lawyers or doctors, they're failures. If they're not lawyers, doctors, or failures, then I fall into the failure category. Either way, I see enough and I hear enough of the lawyer jargon that I'm just like, I'm out. I'm so far out that I don't want to hear this. And
He
I
wasn't even speaking lawyer jargon.
No, he
He's like,
wasn't, but he was trying to in a weird way. Like, he's on retainer. He hopes that they call. Was there a part of you that hoped that Punk would call after All In? He's like, yeah, I was kind of sitting by the phone waiting for it. Like, good God. Like, ambulance chaser 101 right there.
he was like admitting he called Joey Janela jelly.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. And then he said that the AEW lawyers, or at least the people representing, were just like, we don't do name calling here. Like, put him in his place. Which, like, why would you admit that? You just admitted that you were being a piece of shit on the schoolyard. What did you do? It was not good.
it was, oh man, that's how I spent my Monday night, everybody. I don't know what happened on Raw. I was too busy listening to this interview. I transcribed every word of that interview, give or take.
God
Like,
bless.
but just about every word of that. And I'm just like, it was fascinating, like, that these people exist, and they exist only, I assume, in this world of wrestling, because I don't feel like this is like true law. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know too much. My friend, my famous friend Sammer is a lawyer adjacent. I feel we don't talk about life. We talk about basketball, but no, he's a lawyer. I feel like he has more credibility than he should have defended Punk. Allegedly, reportedly, allegedly, a witness protection. I don't know. I don't get in any trouble with anybody. All I'm saying, it was fascinating. It was a fascinating thing. It was something. It was something.
Yeah, that's the word. It was something.
Yeah.
You can go find it on Fightful.com. All of these.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're attaching yourself to Cornette. That's something. That's something. But yeah, it was.
He talks about that, the misconceptions of being attached to Cornette, and then in the same sentence making the jelly Janela reference in a Cornette room.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, you just completely undid everything you were saying.
I feel like anything involving the law and wrestling, like, isn't real.
Pro wrestling and airports having, okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Professional wrestling is like an airport at 7 a.m. when you get a beer. It is a lawless, timeless vacuum where nothing matters. That's professional wrestling.
Like, MLW had this lawsuit that got settled. I assume MLW got paid well off of it. But people are like, oh, if this goes to Discovery, this would be something. And I'm reading like some of this stuff, and I'm just like, WWE's admitting AEW's competition because they have to admit that, so it doesn't look like they have a monopoly. But then they're, of course, going to like take any chance they can to be like, yeah, they're not competition type of thing. Like, it's so fascinating, the real stuff that has to be said to get yourself out of real stuff, and then everything we know about the world of wrestling, and it's just we're just working, brother, type of thing. Like, it's amazing to me. What a business. Can you fuck pro wrestling, Joel Pearl?
Yes, people do it all the time. It is in, out, to the side, off the way. They get people's addresses and send them boxes. It's a whole thing, my friend. It's a whole thing. I want to talk real quick before we get into the thumbnail stuff. And Missa Kate joined us in about a half hour. I want to talk about that NXT main event because I know it's on everyone's mind who maybe watches NXT, all 700,000 of you. Sorry, that was just a dumb dig. But the main event last night, you had Ilya Dragunov taking on Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland had shown up to basically claim that he wants his shot. He wants to prove that he's still a good wrestler and so on and so forth because he loses a lot now on the main roster. And he goes up against Ilya Dragunov and they do a stretcher job to finish the show. That Dragunov gets carried off on a stretcher had a lot of people feeling a certain way. I want your thoughts on this main event. We have basically 2 points of view. One is when it happened because it was a taped show, and the other being when it aired. So I want your opinion. I want your thoughts.
What? I don't I don't understand the line of questioning, sir.
Mr. New, my thoughts are, what did you think when the angle was shot last week, and what did you think when the angle was aired last night? Because people had a certain way of feeling for both.
I thought it was a pro wrestling angle. That's all. Like when I first saw the stretcher stuff, and I was like, oh, that's hopefully things are good. And then it was Corey from Fightful. He was like, no, it's just an angle. I was like, okay, cool. Then that's good. That's just an angle. Then it aired, but I knew it was coming, so I knew it was an angle. So I was like, whatever. People are mad. People are mad about the fact that it's Ridge and everything. Like the Big E stuff was very real. That was not an angle. Big E still hasn't wrestled. We're coming up on 2 years and he still hasn't wrestled because it was March of last year. And so it's Ridge doing it. And so people are like, oh, that's tasteless. And like, that's why people are mad, right? If they do this angle and it's Butch, it's Pete Dunne instead, and it's just a stretcher job angle, people are probably like a little less mad, I assume. But because it's Ridge, they were a little more mad. I think that's the point. Yeah, Elton Prince as well. But like, I think that's the point, is like you can only do it with someone who sort of has that history. That's what they're doing with Nia Jax. It's, Becky's calling her out and be like, yeah, you injure everybody, you destroy it. Nia's making jokes about it. And it's a wink and a nod if you know of like, yeah, I heard everyone I'm in the ring with. And it's like, well, is that legit or is it not legit? Like, because so it's kind of the same thing. Like, that's the point of it. I'm not mad about it. Do I think there are other ways to go with it? Like, I'll go to my tried and true, Joel. Is it necessary? Right? That's always my thing. Is it necessary? Do I think this is necessary? No, I don't think it's necessary. Am I mad that they're doing it? Not really. Like, it's their call, it's their choice. Fine. I don't think it's necessary though. I don't think it like adds a ton to the story of Dragunov and Trick Williams, which I would just rather see play out as Dragunov and Trick Williams without some weird injury stretcher job angle.
Do you think that this is necessary? It's the Z Zone.
I had no idea you do a porno show first thing in the mornings now.
Make you feel right at home.
Feel right at home. I'm like, what is this, my show?
I'm just asking the tough questions here, Andrew Zarian. If you got a female robot, like, and it's supposed to make women obsolete, that was the tagline. If it's supposed to make women obsolete, can you fuck the robot?
I mean, I would imagine that you should be able to.
Yeah, thank you.
I imagine, and what about them? What about robot rights? Can they sleep with each other?
Oh, now we're
Can
getting
the robots fuck?
Now we're getting into some Futurama type shit. Okay.
I got stoned and I fell asleep. I was watching this technology. I was binging on like this technology video guy. Jesus, I sound like I'm 90. This video guy on that TV on YouTube, and I woke up to this deep discussion about how transhumanism, not trans rights or anything, transhumanism, how it's going to be the end of society when we become cyborgs. And I woke up to this, and I was like, I want to become a cyborg. I'm okay with this. I want, laser eyes.
Oh, that would rule.
They're gonna call you like Andrew Borg Cutis or something. I don't know.
No problem with it. I'm already halfway there, dude.
Yeah, you're more machine than man, are you?
I'm more machine than man. There's nothing real about me. I'm all an AI. This is a figment of your imagination. We're all plugged in somewhere, and you've manifested me in your heads, unfortunately.
You think robot wrestling will be a thing?
Or
will the robots rise up and be like, nah, we're gonna make the humans fight?
No, they're gonna rise up, and then they're gonna want to unionize, and the main robot's gonna turn around and tell the boss, and then they're all gonna get decapitated. That's it. That's how it stops. But listen, you brought up something interesting, right? The robots. What about the holograms?
No, we've moved past the holograms. Now that AI is
holograms.
Holograms.
Like, would you go if you could go to the Garden to watch Andre and Hogan, right? Would you go? I would.
No. It's just not. There's no feeling. That's why the AI thing is more interesting to me. Like when Kiss decided we're not going to do holograms, we're going to do AI. It's like, okay, Gorillas are really good at this because Gorillas, at least when you do when they do a concert, there are people behind the screen playing. Whereas the AI, you have to assume, is just a light show with music that you're going to see, and someone presses play and cues up everything else.
Yeah, but what if like in 20 years it's even better? It looks even better. What difference? The ropes move when they run on them. You could do all of it.
Of course, it's all going to get better, but like that's going to come with time, and I hope to be dead by then.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go. I don't know if I'd go with a wrestling match. A concert, they had the Tupac hologram.
They had the Tupac at Coachella. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a little bit understand. Like that's not too terrible there. A wrestling match, like, am I getting a new? Am I just going to the Garden to watch Hogan and Andre from WrestleMania 3? Like, is that all I'm watching, or like, am I getting like Hulk Hogan doing 450s and shit? Because I'll watch that.
Yeah, no. Hogan's doing planchas. The whole
all right,
thing.
I'm in.
Yeah.
It's all controlled by the users in the audience. It's like people who bought the $2,000 ticket. You get to type in the code to do different moves.
Yeah. Hogan's doing New Jack spots.
Yeah. Got the pizza cutter, brother.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Hey, you get to like pick of like, all right, pick the wrestler, pick the move set, pick like the character. Like you just pick all of this. I'll watch Hogan do some like lucha stuff. I'm for that.
Amazing.
Good Lord, what are we doing?
Yelling out Steve Austin catchphrases in the middle of it as well.
Oh, he's doing the Austin too. He does the beer.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I feel like Hogan was always tickled by that. Like he always wanted to do a little bit of the Austin.
Well, that was.
I think at one moment Austin became like his favorite wrestler, and if he could have done the beer and the middle finger, he would have.
He got as close as possible with Hollywood Hogan. That was as far as he was gonna kind of take it on that.
I don't care. I think Hollywood Hogan was one of the greatest characters in pro wrestling because he was so hokey.
I loved when he called himself Wood. He had that hairpiece from the Three Ninjas.
Yeah.
And he just called himself Wood the entire promo. Oh, amazing.
Wacky wrestling, man. Wacky wrestling.
Could you imagine if Hogan invented the what?
He did invent the what. That's why he went like this. He couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's right. Oh no, that's
he just whispered it. He didn't want to be rude. He was like, what? You guys were bringing up Mansoor earlier on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was dying this morning. My father walks in. I'm in the living room. He's like, "What time am I taking you to train?" And I'm like 11. He's like, "Oh, you and Rich doing new show." And I'm like, "That's not me. And that's definitely not Rich." And he's like, and he totally ignored it. He goes, "Your arms look good, man." And he walked out. That was it.
For the
Can we
record,
get your dad on this show?
yeah, we got to get your dad on the show.
My father will ask both of you if you're Guyanese,
And I'll just say, yeah,
and you have to say yes.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian. He will ask you if you're Guyanese. I think he thinks Rich is a black man, to be honest.
I could see that. For those who don't know,
I
by the
swear
way,
to God.
for those who don't know, by the way, Rich and I look very much alike, except that Rich is also like, he's like me at 1.5 size. Like he tall and just thickness. Like he is me at 1.5.
My friend Harry, which he's known my whole life. Okay, they like grew up in my house. Black kid from Jamaica, Queens. Every time he would come visit when he was in the military, my father would ask him if his father's Jamaican, and it became a game. We would take the over under on at what point in the drinking of the drinking that's going on in the evening does my father ask him if his father's Jamaican. He's met his father multiple times. They've barbecued. He has to ask him if his father's Jamaican. And at one point, Harry, his name is Harry. He's like, yeah, he's Jamaican, from Jamaica. He goes, I knew it. Like he stumbled upon something. And then he'll tell you how his best friend Colin is Jamaican.
That is a very
oxtail. Oh man, I love it. I gotta tell you, you'll meet my father one day, Joel and Jeremy. Hopefully, when you come to New York, I have to bring him to a wrestling show because he's a character. My father's a madman.
I want him on this show. I want the exclusive interview with.
Right.
You know what? I'll next time I come on, I'll get him to come in.
All right, you're not welcome back here unless your father's with you.
Yeah, you could ask him questions about wrestling. Listen, it's fake.
I would just shock. I would be shocked.
How dare you?
How to explain this?
How dare?
Listen, they're not hitting each other. But he loves wrestling. He's the one that got me, gave me this illness.
Oh, it's the worst illness. Worse than RSV. It's the worst. I was going to ask you something. Oh, I need your thoughts because
give me.
MJF is your Long Island boy. He's on our thumbnail. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him. What do you think? Did he sign, or he's refuting that? People want to know. I need the Zarian scoop / opinion.
Well, the whole bidding war of 2024 came from me, right?
Go on.
That was my conversation with someone at WWE that was asking me on when his contract is up and if I've heard anything. This is years ago. Like this would have been before the Double or Nothing incident. So like way before that, maybe like January of 2020. What was that, 2022 or 21? Maybe 20. So like maybe December of 21, I had said that and it got picked up. And I think he liked that. And he sent me like a little DM, like a winky or something, whatever he sent. Do I think he signed? I don't know. I assumed he was.
Everyone seems to have. And then of course he came out yesterday and said, nah.
His contract ends too. All right.
He seems to be saying, talking out of both sides of his mouth, saying, I love this place, but I didn't re-sign yet. So it's very strange.
Listen, he's a worker,
He is. Workers work, just like those sex robots.
He is just like the sex robots.
He is. MJF is a sex robot.
Yeah.
If there's one thing
I'm looking forward to Long Island show, to be honest. I never thought I would say I'm looking forward to going back to the Nassau Coliseum, but I am.
Yeah, that's going to be fun for you, especially, it's the end of the year and you don't have to travel too far. I'm not coming in for that show because it's just not worth my money. It's a lot. It's very expensive.
There's a good chance I'm going to be getting loaded in that Marriott hotel bar next door.
You would. Let's take a look. New York. When is this show? It's at the end of December.
December 30th.
Oh my goodness. Let's say I come in on the 30th and I fly out on the 31st.
That doesn't sound good.
Most of my ideas don't sound good. We've already established this.
Well, listen, the Long Island Marriott is $144 a night. You can stay at the Red Roof Plus in Garden City for $97.
That's still awful. That Red Roof is normally like $55.
How do you know that? How do you know about that hotel?
It's a red roof. Everybody has a red roof, Andrew Zarian.
Never heard of a red roof.
Really? Well, that's just because you're bougie. Let's take a guess here. Round trip. How much does it cost? And think about it Canadian dollars.
All right. Round trip from what airport to what airport?
From Toronto Island Airport, it's gonna fly me into Newark.
No. You gotta go to JFK. No, you're crazy. You're crazy. Go to JFK or LaGuardia.
That's what happens when you go cheapest. Okay, that's what happens. So let's say, let's take Newark out of here because I know normally it goes Newark because Porter flies to Newark. Okay, here's the updated price going into LaGuardia.
Okay.
LaGuardia.
I'm gonna say, can I guess?
Yeah.
What airline?
American.
I'm gonna say $325 each way.
Jeremy.
I'm terrible at flight guessing. I'm gonna just almost piggyback off of Zarian. I'm gonna go 375.
The total cost is $565. That's return, and that's Canadian. So let's do CAD to USD. That is a $423 return for a one night.
That's cheap.
For whom? Vegas is $167 return. Canadian.
You know what's crazy? And do you know what I paid for that Vegas flight when I went to Vegas for Double or Nothing?
For Double or Nothing, you would have overspent because it's Memorial Day.
I think it came out to honestly like almost $2,000.
That's insane.
I'm trying to.
I did flight business. I did flight business though.
That's what you would do. That's you. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry.
But I don't think the regular flights were better. I think it was like almost like 500 each way. It was like $489 each way.
You're still flying business, or you're flying economy?
No, I was flying JetBlue.
Okay.
Extra legroom.
Whatever. I'm flying. Whatever. I'm going. Right now, I'm flying Flair, which is very, like, it's the Ryanair.
Listen, it's crashed twice. It won't happen a third time, right?
I'm trying to get out of the Flair flight and replace it, but let's not talk about that. Yeah.
So you should come, dude. Why don't you come?
No, I'm going to Vegas, and I have fatherhood duties to deal with.
Nah,
I feel you.
That's true. I have other things I need to take care of in January anyway that are family related, so I don't think I can make the flight out, especially at $560. Like, that's insane. And that's not even for 24 hours. Like, the flight leaves on Saturday there's a 6:30 a.m. flight, and then I got to leave the next morning at 8:30. I'd spend the night.
The press conference is still going to be going on.
I would have said stay a night with me. I would have said come stay here.
Yeah, you'll drop me off at 8:30 or at 6:30 at LaGuardia.
I'll call you an Uber.
Call me an Uber. At whose expense? Yours. Let's go.
My business. Yeah, it's a business expense.
It's a business expense. That's right. Do you want to fly me in as a business expense?
That I can't.
Oh, coward!
Not for $480. What are you, crazy?
Well, then fly me into Newark. It's only 425 Canadian.
Dude, why would anybody fly to Newark? It is.
That's the only.
I got stuck in Mexico one time. Okay, there were no flights for whatever reason. We had this ungodly storm hit the Northeast. This is like 10 years ago, and I got stuck in Mexico in the resort. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. But I had to come home eventually, and there were no flights for like 4 or 5 days. And I had to go to Minneapolis, and from Minneapolis, I had to go to Newark. And I would have rather stayed in Minneapolis in the dead of winter than go to Newark.
I get it. I really do.
I've been to Newark once. I went there for a UFC event long time ago. Don't recommend.
I'm so sorry.
I don't recommend like New Jersey, just that whole area. I don't see the point of it.
I like North Jersey. North Jersey's nice. I like North Jersey. New York City's a nightmare. I can't wait till I get out of here and I live in the woods somewhere at this point. This is hell on earth. Nobody should be living the way we live here.
Have you considered moving to Toronto?
Even worse. No more major cities for me. I'm gone. I'm done.
Gosh, my God.
My wife has 4 more years till she retires. She's going to be done in 4 years. I plan on retiring also, and nobody will see me.
That's fair. That's good.
Except on the internet.
Oh yeah,
they're just going to pop on every now and again, drop a wrestling scoop, and then leave.
Yeah, of course, Andrew. Yeah, I like Upper Saddle River, Montclair. I like North Jersey.
He's getting to that age, folks. He's old. He just wants to be with nature. And by the way, for those of you who are saying, I wouldn't recommend flying with Flair, I get it. I agree with you. I've never had a problem with Flair, but I know that there are problems with Flair. I'm also trying to go with WestJet. I've had problems.
I mean, you'll get flashed. I mean, that's a problem.
It's all the same. But I've flown with WestJet, and I've had flights canceled coming out of Vegas, no less, on WestJet. So it's happened. I've sat on the tarmac on WestJet for 5 hours only to have my flight canceled.
Jesus.
It happens. That was SummerSlam weekend. That's when I met you for the first time.
That was a fun weekend. We hung out with some pretty fun people too.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
I smuggled you guys into that Twitch lounge.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time. We and I smuggled some other friends in.
You did. I thought one of them was waving at me as a fan, but it ended up becoming somebody else.
You bet. Oh, it's my favorite story. Anyway,
that's such. You know what? You could tell it one day. I don't care. It's. I've told the story a billion times on how like an asshole. This beautiful blonde woman is waving at me, and I'm like, I look at Rich and I look at Joel. I'm like, do you see my fans? And in a joking manner, but like half joking. And as she comes closer, it's a mutual friend of ours, Joel. Yes. Can I mention who?
No, let's leave it because I don't want to out that.
Okay.
Person.
All right.
It's someone with whom you've had I don't want to say relationship, but I mean like
not a relationship, a friendship.
A friendship. That's
good acquaintances. Yeah.
It's someone that you just didn't recognize because they had a mask on like everyone else.
Yes.
Anyway.
And I burned mine to the ground that night. I was so enraged by that.
By Brock Lesnar coming back as a surprise and confronting Roman Reigns?
I don't remember, but I took so many edibles. At one point, Sean Ross Sapp was carrying me like a baby. I remember that.
That is true. Yeah, they did the press conference or whatever they were doing afterwards. That was a night. Yeah.
That was a fun night. I have a question for you guys before I leave here.
Sure.
Somebody asked me what my personal match of the year was. So I want to know what your personal match of the year was.
Go ahead, Joel.
I hate this question because I don't have an answer for it.
Oh, I have mine.
Is it Danielson Okada from Forbidden Door?
No, that match was too long.
I was waiting for that. No, I don't have one yet. But go ahead.
Miz and Snoop Dogg.
There it is. Oh, you know what? Ospreay and Speedball was one that really tickled me this year. That was a good match.
Ospreay and Speedball. I mean, do you work for TNA now?
I mean,
oh yeah, we're co-opted.
Yeah, we're co-opted.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just need to know now. Now I need to know. Tell Lance I said hello.
I will let him know.
Do you see him in the back when you're working? When you go to work, do you see him?
Yeah, because you know what? All the Canadians in TNA, which is literally the entire company, we all stick together. We all hang out.
Yeah,
we actually catch the Americans outside. Edward Edwards, not allowed within like 100 feet of the Canadians. That's just the way it is. His wife's cool. It's
fine. Lance is my favorite. He's my favorite Canadian. Joel, maybe you're number 2.
I'm used to being number 2.
Number 2. Bret Hart, number 3.
Don't tell
Justin
him.
Bieber, number 4. Actually, no, Pamela Anderson. Nobody remembers that. She's number 1, the number 1 Canadian of all time. Pamela Anderson.
I mean, I guess she is from Vancouver.
I can't believe you guys that she was Canadian. Nobody knew. Everybody thought she was like a Hollywood blonde.
Well, yeah, well, she left and she became the Hollywood blonde. Anyway,
her and Pillman were great as a team.
Andrew Zarian, I'm kicking you off now.
All right, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the show. I know you have a great guest coming on. I'm going to be listening.
We do. She has arrived, so we'll say
adios
for now.
Bye,
enjoy.
Brian.
Shall we set this up? All
yes.
right. Andrew Zarian. Andrew Zarian's always a barrel of fun. If she's ready, she can give me a thumbs up and we can bring her on. There you go. I'm very excited for this guest. She is the second wrestling champion at Chicago. She is a Chicago, she'll tell you for a million years that she is a wrestler from Chicago, and I think it's a wonderful thing, or at least from Illinois, because I don't know. We're going to find out. Either way, from the NWA, you'll notice and you'll recognize her. The one, the only Missa Kate joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good. How are you?
Not too shabby, not too shabby. I ate, had coffee, so far so good.
Okay, what's the breakfast of choice?
Ooh, today I had, and we're gonna get real specific. 2 pieces of sourdough bread. One had avocado and a sunny side up egg on it. The other one had butter. And then I had another egg off of a piece of bread, and then 4 chicken links.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You said links. You said
Sounds like
links,
very good
right?
breakfast.
Not legs.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure, because I would have been like, your breakfast took a 180, and I'm all for it. But no, chicken links, I get it. That's a good breakfast. That's a healthy ass breakfast.
Thank you. I'm trying.
I like it, Jeremy.
Oh, I'm gonna pick up where we left off with the last conversation. Who are your favorite Canadians?
Trish Stratus.
Okay,
That's
that's it. That's the easy one. Easy one. I like the answer.
I think it's a pretty good answer.
Yeah. Yes.
That is, yeah.
I do want to go back. We're gonna get this one out of the way. At the last NWA event, NWA San Wow. I always mess up the pronunciation.
I can't get it right either, so you're good.
There was a specific spot on that show with the father, James Mitchell. I want to know what the backstage reaction was when that happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't see anything about this online?
Yeah, okay, I saw a little bit. So I'm Sinister Minister, I'm assuming, right? You're speaking of. Okay. So I was in the back minding my own business, so I didn't know any of this that was going on stage. He kind of comes back and he has some stuff all over his face, and I was kind of like, what's going on? And then he pretty much told me what they just did, and I was just like, oh, okay, we're doing that now. So I was like, all right, so let's start pushing the envelope. So, I mean, I was kind of in my own little bubble. I don't know how everybody else reacted about it. But I just found out because I was waiting. There's a little area outside of Gorilla that I found a hiding spot, as I like to say. So yeah, and he just came out and it just, yeah, so I found out from him directly. So that was interesting.
That kind of brings me into a follow-up question. When you're working TV and televised events, what kind of is your process? Because it's different from working, maybe a non-televised event. What are you doing throughout the day? What's keeping you busy? What's keeping you focused?
Yeah, so yeah, like how you said, it's a little bit different. Indies compared to TV or whatever, or pay-per-views. TV and pay-per-views are obviously a lot more hectic. Indies are going to be more relaxed. Just kind of, get indies are like, get there, know what you're doing. You kind of have free reign. So it's a little bit more relaxed, where TVs, I feel like, are just as intense as pay-per-views, because a lot of times we'll do multiple TV tapings in one day. So I've wrestled multiple matches one day before. So that's where it gets hectic, because you start at, because I'm a girl and I need hair and makeup done. So our day actually starts even earlier, like sometimes 9, 10 a.m. And then we don't get out until midnight. So yeah, they're a lot more hectic. I got to get better at remembering to eat and drink water. That's one of my downfalls. Because you're just so on the go. You want to make sure you get everything done that you need to get done. If you have promos you got to do, if you have segments, if there's stuff with social media. So yeah, you're kind of that very, very long work day. It feels very short because you're constantly moving. So, I mean, it depends, I guess, to answer your question. Depends on what's going on. So say if I only have one match for those TV tapings, I'm like, okay, get what I got to do that. Once that's done, then I try to, watch other people's matches and relax throughout the day. Be like, okay, cool, my job's done. For pay-per-view days, obviously, it's still intense because, you have one match, but it's still like, all right, so same thing, just figure out what you got to do it well, hopefully. For me personally, I try to always find moments to myself, because I feel like there's never a moment to yourself. You're always talking to somebody, or like someone's pulling you this direction, that direction. So Billy, my boss, Billy Corgan, he actually will say like little stuff. He's just like, oh, hiding again? I was like, yeah, I'm like, I just need a minute. So yeah, so it's funny. Again, I don't know what everybody else does. Maybe it's just a me thing where I'm like, all right, you guys, like, I need to, like, I'm not being disrespectful, but it's just like, all right, breath, and then let's go.
What is it like working with Billy? Because he's a polarizing figure in and out of wrestling and in the music industry. You have a one-to-one interaction with him at these events. What's it like working with Billy Corgan?
He's a very interesting fella. He is pretty much what everybody thinks as far as creative and how his music is. That's kind of how he is with wrestling as well. Like, he likes to keep everybody on their toes. So I'll even try to pick his brain about stuff, and he'll just be like, "Oh, you gotta wait and see." I'm like, bro, we work together. Like, it's okay. Like, you give me a little bit of insight. But he likes to very much figure out like, okay, this is what we're doing today. Oh, actually, now I feel like it's gonna go better if we go this way. So it's definitely, he's good at keeping you on your toes.
I want to switch away from NWA for a second. I got to ask about this match you recently had teaming with Joey Avalon against Gangrel and Heather Reckless. What was it like sharing the ring with Gangrel?
That was cool. That was really fun. He's I don't have anything bad to say about him. It was fun listening to his stories and like background and stuff, that his view on wrestling and whatnot. But yeah, it was myself and Joey against Heather and Gangrel, and yeah, it was just really, I don't know the best way to describe it. It's really cool. From watching again, my time is Ruthless Aggression era, so I had to go back and rewatch, even though I knew who Gangrel is because I'm a Hardy fan. So to me, that's where it was cool, because I was like, oh, he managed the Hardys. Like, that's how I originally knew him. And then when I look back at his history and everything he's done, I was like, oh, okay, like he's pretty dope. So
Let's talk about Second Wrestling. I was put into contact with you by Rabbi Fine, who is
Rabbi.
Rabbi himself, the man. He put us together, and here we are. Talk to me about working with Second Wrestling. You are the champion there. That means something. It's you and Billie Starkz and Eric Cannon are the three champions that have been in Second. Talk to me about the promotion and, of course, being the champion there.
Yeah, Second Wrestling is I guess you could say, fairly new promotion to the area. But for how new that we are doing very well, and we get a very good response. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite promotions to work in the area, if not ever one of my favorite promotions I've ever worked in the area. Rabbi does very well. He likes ideas. He wants us to learn and to grow and ultimately just have fun, because he understands that, like, if we're not having fun, then the crowd's gonna receive it that way. And he does his best. He does his best to keep a great environment. So when I won and I beat Eric Cannon, I was like, no pressure, but I was like, all right. So I think between him and I, we have that understanding of like, all right, we could see where Second Wrestling can go. So with that, I definitely plan on being the longest reigning champion in history, which I don't think it'll be very long, because Billy didn't have very long, Eric didn't have very long, from my understanding. So I think I might be right now the longest reigning. Who knows? I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, I'm just excited to see what the future holds. Because we are not, there is not a male title, there's not a female title, it is the title. So that part alone leaves endless opportunities for me, as far as who can challenge me and try to win. They're not gonna, but they could give it their best shot.
You were at WrestleCade this past year, correct? You were part of the Ladies Night Out event. What'd you make of WrestleCade? Was that your first time there, and then the Ladies Night Out event as well?
Yeah, no, it was. I know I keep saying everything was great. Like, it's a great experience. I'm such a wrestling nerd, so when I'm around wrestling, I'm like, oh, this is fun. So yeah, no, that was my first Ladies Night Out. I was actually supposed to be a part of it. I don't know if it was last year or the year or something like that, but there was a falling out, not on Ladies Night Out, on somebody who was supposed to bring me in. So to kind of come in now, and meet Telly and He's a great guy, and he's another one too where he tries his best to keep the environment great, and he really does want to promote the women and showcase what we can do. So he, again, open to ideas. One of the nicest guys I've ever met, especially for as far as wrestling goes. Like, super gentleman, super sweet guy. So that alone was fun. And then meeting some of the girls, because again, ladies night out, it's all walks, people from all over, including WrestleCade. So I saw some familiar faces that I haven't seen in a while. I met new people finally that we just kind of like met through social media, and we would talk about that, like, oh, we talked through social media, but now it's in person. Like, how's it going? So there's stuff like that. But yeah, WrestleCade was definitely a really fun weekend. Everything was in a general area. So yeah, it was just, I feel like anytime, again, this is my first WrestleCade, so excuse me if I'm wrong, but I feel like anytime that there is a giant wrestling event, I've been to like Mania Week in Tampa and in Texas. That's the closest thing that I can relate it to, is like, when wrestling's in town, you feel it because you just feel the energy of the group of people. So that was really cool.
I'm going to pull up a photo, and I need your thoughts on it. No, it's from your Instagram. It's not that bad. Did you get to keep the photo? Or did you get to keep the t-shirts?
No,
I
wasn't good enough to have it. Nobody got it. I was so sad. That was the first thing I asked. I was like, so I get to keep this? They're like, no. I was like,
you're a damn t-shirt company. What are we doing?
I know. Come on, Pro Wrestling Tees, get your crap together. No, but yeah, I love that. That was my debut. That was the first time I went. Well, the first and only time I went down to Jacksonville, but my first dark match. And yeah, that I saw that picture in a couple of different places, and including Nyla's header on Twitter. So, but yeah, it was funny. That was a great time, guys. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, can you punch Joel Pearl for bringing this up? Like, he's over here bringing up bad memories? Just a complete jerk. Next time you see him, you're free to punch him. You have my permission. Okay. Just punch him. It'll be fine.
Nah, yeah.
As far as I know, you haven't been.
I'll see you around Mania Week, I'm sure.
You won't see me. I'm up in Toronto, and I don't necessarily cover Mania, but I mean, I'll be in Vegas for like the TNA events. But otherwise, if you come up to Canada, then sure, we'll have a tete-a-tete then. I'm
working on it. There's a couple promotions up there. We just keep missing dates. So hopefully soon I'll be over there.
Any that you want to shout out? Because we got to.
No, I'm gonna keep that quiet.
Okay, let's go. That's fine. I look forward to hearing them when they come up.
Yeah.
There you go.
What was some of your, besides the bad portion that Joel was bringing up, any good memories from your AEW experiences? Because you've had multiple since that one.
Honestly, to me was some of the knowledge that was back there. So I tried using those as learning experiences because those were my first taste of any kind of TV or anything like that. So like, yes, of course, like, hard cam, you're taught hard cam, stuff like that, but you're not really taught, this way, that way, look like that, so learning experience from that aspect. And then on top of that, like a couple people back there, one of which being Mr. Jerry Lynn, that I love dearly. I love seeing his face back there. He definitely, I feel like, is a light back there. Like, he just resonates. He's a bright guy, super sweet guy. Someone like him, I'm totally gonna mess this up because of their names in WWE now. The tag, Dash Wilder. I keep messing it up.
FTR.
I would pick their brains about stuff back there. So yeah, I guess that's ultimately those were my favorite memories from there. And then, I worked with Ruby, talking with her about something, same thing. Again, I'm a wrestling nerd. So if I can learn, that's fun to me. I know some people are like, that's lame, but that's fine.
We're gonna talk about Chicago in a minute because I know that's your place, your love.
The best city in the world. It's not just my place. It's the best city in the freaking world.
I'm gonna ask you about that in a second. But you're big on donuts. What's your favorite
Oh my
donut? What is the donut for Missa Kate?
What is the donut?
What is your favorite donut, or even your favorite donut spot?
Krispy Kreme donut. You can't go wrong with the classic. That hot light's on. You know, Drake knew what he was saying. He knows when the hot light blinked.
Yeah, big Krispy Kreme fan. That Drake.
Yeah, yeah. It's like he knew. Everybody else did it, but I knew. Yeah. Have you guys? So I'm gonna throw you for like a little bit of a whirl here. So have you ever heard of a Krispy Kreme bacon burger?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
who
big
cannot?
on the Krispy Kreme. I'm from North Carolina.
Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme bacon burger though?
I've never had it. They do a bacon donut. It's like a maple bacon donut that they've done in the past that is really good, but I've never had the bacon burger. No.
So
I know what you're talking about.
you do? Okay. So let's explain to Mr. Pearl over here since he looks a little lost. So Krispy Kreme bacon burger. What it is you replace the two buns.
Yeah.
Yep. With the Krispy Kreme donut.
Yep.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Within that, you put a burger, you put bacon, and people are gonna say it's gross. I don't care, it's delicious. I also put mayo and Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on it.
Okay.
The mayo,
cheese.
you're losing me on the mayo. The
Mayo's-
barbecue sauce.
You don't even know, dude. You don't even know. It's so good.
It's the
I
savory
like
and sweet
mayo,
has
too.
a point though. Yeah, I like mayo too, but savory and sweet, that there's a point where you can't really go past it. And I feel like the mayo kind of pushes it past the savory sweet into more savory territory.
It ties it all in because it's a neutral flavor.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
I'm a big fan of the barbecue bacon burger. Anywhere, any restaurant, you give me a barbecue bacon burger, I'm all for that. And then yes, Krispy Kreme with instead of the buns, you have a donut. I've heard of this mayo. That's a step too far for me, Missa Kate.
Also, okay,
Don't knock it till you try it.
that's fine. You know what? Put over Chicago wrestling. Why is it the best wrestling in the world? And
He's
also,
like, so
listen, I don't think we can get past.
we're gonna fight over mayo.
I love it. I love Mayo Racha. That's another one anyway. And also Mindy's muffins. We're gonna talk about. Do you like Mindy's?
You're not
muffins?
gonna get a mayo sponsorship now.
That's fine. I never would have. We have enough problem with sponsorships here.
Sorry. So what in all of that, I lost your question.
That's fine. What is it about Chicago and wrestling that is people so just wound up over it, and in a positive way? Like what? Put it over, and also, Mindy's muffins. Have you tried Mindy's muffins? I hear that's a big thing.
So Chicago wrestling overall, I always say it's the heart of wrestling. Not just because it's centered in the country, but it literally is the heart of wrestling. There's something to be said of if you guys go to again now because I'm traveling more, luckily. I will say there's something to be said about if you wrestle here or if you wrestle elsewhere. As far as crowds go, there's people that have before I started traveling that would come here and they're just like, yeah, Chicago's a different animal. Like they would be from St. Louis or the East Coast or Texas or something, and they come to a Chicago show and they're just like, yeah, there's a different energy here, there's a different feel. And I just feel like throughout the years of wrestling, Chicago has been a staple in it. So yeah, unfortunately I was born here. Again, just it's just meant to be. Like it's just meant to be. There's a reason for it. And like a lot of greats come out of Chicago or they run through it. I remember there was, I'm not going to say who, but they're currently signed when they were younger and they came to visit and train in Chicago. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm training here. I'm training in Chicago. So as a wrestler, you kind of understand what that means. Yeah, and I kind of just got off track. So feel free to reel me in anytime. But yeah, so I guess I'm very fortunate that I'm here, and hopefully I know right now that it's a little controversial topic, but Mr. CM Punk, I think is a good example because he is the reactions that he gets, right? Love him or hate him, it's he pulls some kind of passion out of you. And it's a legitimate passion. You could feel it through the TV screen. So it's keep saying like it's something in the air over here. Something in the water.
Well, on this show, we play a little game called Partner, Promo, or Punch in the Face. We're going to pick 3 different wrestlers, and you're going to decide whether you want to have a tag team match with them, then be your tag team partner. If you want to have a promo in the ring with them one-on-one, or if you want to punch them in the face and have a singles match. This is a Chicago edition, so I picked some people that are near and dear to your hearts. Sky Blue, Laney Luck, and Frank the Clown. Missa Kate. Partner, promo, punch in the face.
Partner, promo, punch in the face. I feel like this is a setup.
We asked all of our guests.
Yes.
It's not a setup.
Okay, so I would say we'll start with the punch in the face one because that one's easy. Those of you who know, if you follow Warrior Wrestling, Sky Blue just became, again, I might be misquoting this. She just became or is the interim women's champion at Warrior. Either way, I might have, took the belt, gave it back to her to send her a little message. So with that, I'm going to punch her in the face at Warrior one day. So she will be the one to punch in the face. As far as promo against, I'll promo a unicorn. That's fine. Whatever. Or she not a unicorn now? I don't know. And then as far as partner, I'd have to be Frank the Clown. Him and I he was a manager for me in St. Louis. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Grand No Wrestling. If not, that's okay. I had a match against Tootie Lynn, and Frank managed me. So I think him and I make a very good dynamic. Call us the Shy Clowns,
Frank, Joel is not a fan of Frank either. Frank's been on our show.
Oh,
very nice fella. Like,
I thought
Frank's a good person.
No.
You're not loving Frank the Clown? Is it because you don't like clowns?
Joel's he's just kind of a jerk and a hater, honestly. Like, he's just kind of, I got to do the show with him 3 days a week. He's just kind of a jerk. This is why all the wrestlers want to beat him up. You'd be shocked at how many wrestlers actually want to beat him up.
That is accurate.
Is it because he's wearing glasses?
They're nice glasses.
You want to punch a guy with glasses? I forgot what that's from. Anyway,
Joel he's just a jerk. That's all.
He's just a jerk. Yeah. Jerk Joel. That's his wrestling name.
There we go. See, great heel.
Jerky Joel.
Jerky Joel. Yeah, Jerky Joel's better than Jerk Joel. Jerk Joel sounds like to open a Jamaican restaurant.
You just come out throwing jerkies at people.
Let's go. Listen, I was the one who stole the Slim Jim car.
That'd be awesome. Dude, you could come out with a whole new brand. Oh my God. See, I by the way, I'm going to ask for 5% of these sales, but you can come out with the jerky now.
There we go. Look at this.
All right. We can talk business off to the side. This is the best episode of Shark Den I've ever seen. So let's go. Missa Kate, I want to thank you for your time. This was a wonderful chat. Go ahead, plug your stuff. Tell us what you got going on and what's coming up in your world. All
right. So I changed my name on Instagram and Twitter to Missa Kate 23. I'm probably going to change it again because I like keeping you guys on your toes, But you can follow me there. And then if you go to my Instagram and Twitter, I also have a Facebook page, Missa Kate. I always forget to mention. There's that. For you old people that don't want Instagram and Twitter. And then also if you go on the links that are attached in my Instagram and Twitter, there is a whole page explaining to you where you can get your Missa merch from. So Pro Wrestling Tees, TeePublic. I have a Big Cartel store you get 8x10s from. And yeah, a whole bunch of other fun stuff. I have an Amazon wish list because you want to buy me stuff. Or if you don't want to give me a present, you want to just give me money, there's Cash App on there. So really you're winning all the time. Or you get one from each category. Make my Christmas, right? Merry Missa Miss. Yeah, I think that's all I can think of right now. Oh, and then as far as stuff that's coming up this January, I am going to be in Florida with NWA. On the 13th, we're having a pay-per-view called Paranoid. The following day, that's in Fort Lauderdale, which they will also that night, I think it's either at 10 o'clock at night or midnight. I don't remember. They are joining forces with CCW out there in Florida, so it's going to be a very, very long weekend because after that, we're driving straight to Tampa for tapings. So feel free to join us in Fort Lauderdale and Tampa. Just make it a wrestling weekend. We got to do it, so just come with us.
Good luck with everything, Missa Kate. We appreciate you joining us. Go follow all of the links. Go make a Missa Christmas, right? I get that. Missa Miss. There we go.
Missa Miss.
Why is it not Chris Missa? No, it doesn't work either.
Oh, Chris Missa? That's
Mary Kate Miss. Mary Kate Miss.
No, we already have a Kate who does that on this channel, so I feel like
yeah, Missa Miss. Then we'll go Mary Missa Miss.
All right. Well, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Happy holidays, you guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Of course, thank you.
Oh, what a good chat that was, Missa Kate, the one and only.
That was fantastic.
That was so.
Again, another wrestler who wants to punch you in the face, Joel.
As is tradition.
Can we making enemies all over the place?
Let's make 2024 the year where wrestlers don't want to punch me in the face. Maybe
that's no fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's no fun at all.
A good chat was had. A lot of really interesting stuff coming out of that. I love it. Chat was like, it's the mayo that goes too far. It's not the donuts that goes too far.
The donut's fine. Like replacing the bun with donuts, like that's fine to me. Like
that's fine.
I want one of those things. I've seen them. I've never had one. I mentioned that like Krispy Kreme they do like it's like a maple bacon donut, which is really, really good. It's like maple frosting, and then they have like bacon pieces on top of it, which is good.
Well, wasn't the cronut a big thing? Like people were doing the cronut with making a burger out of the cronuts.
Probably they do all kinds of stuff. You know, people just love mashing food together. It all comes out the same. You know what I mean, Joel?
You're just renting it at the end of the day. Let's face it. Oh man, this good chat. Today's show has already been an all-timer in so many ways, in so many of the worst ways. Chi-Town Spurs sent us a super chat, and you can too, by the way. I don't want to be reminded of one of my favorite wrestlers as being forced to retire due to injury over and over and over. Of course, that's in relation to Ridge Holland and Big E. Unfortunately, it was an incident involving Ridge Holland that did cause Big E to be on the shelf. We don't know if that is permanently, or we don't know where that stands. Like Jeremy said earlier in the show, before Missa Kate, before Andrew Zarian, that is something that people remember. Going back to NXT and the main event last night. I don't want to spend too much time more on it, but I will give you just a really quick thought. And that was, this is an HBK special. HBK did the same thing in 95, had the concussion spot, got himself knocked out, then got knocked after the match, got knocked down. They did a stretcher job. It was a fake concussion. It's all part of the thing. What's going on with Mello and with Trick? Same thing. That is Triple H and Shawn Michaels, the whodunit from like 2003. And I swear to God, they're going to get the footage from the parking lot of who did it. And it's going to be a split screen, Mello and Trick. Someone's going to be at home and they're going to be like, I know who did it. And they're going to, enhance, and it's going to be Mello's face. And that's how they're going to get it. And then they're going to have their unsanctioned match at Vengeance Day or at Stand and Deliver. Either way. That's HBK loves booking his own angles, but before it was for the women. Now it's just for the talent that he deems necessary to do it for. It is what it is. I understand the feeling of it's Ridge and there's a history there. I will say so much that commentary didn't draw attention to that fact. It was very much an if you know type of thing. Similar to, and this isn't a one-to-one comparison, but CM Punk making the reference to punching people in the face, and he was also talking about Kevin Owens doing it. It was I did it in AEW, but I'm talking about WWE canon, where this is something that's happened backstage and you've seen it. Them not drawing attention to it meant that it was just it was an if you know, you know. I love that someone in the chat mentioned Melo's going to fight Marines in a bar.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's a good one.
at.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, they did. Other people in the chat mentioned like they did the whole Roxanne Perez concussion collapse thing earlier this year, and like that went nowhere. Like I don't know what they're doing with Roxanne at this point. I get people's thoughts on why they don't like it. I completely understand that. And my thought is I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it is a necessary beat in whatever story they are trying to tell. Because with Dragunov and Trick, I don't think this is something needed. Maybe they make it some certain way and okay, that you needed to do this, but could you have gotten there a different way? We shall see. Let it play out. With Ridge, are you trying to just make him really dangerous? Like, is that what we're trying to do? Like that we'll see. I'm willing to let some of it play out to see like what the follow-up is. As SP3 mentions, like it became Roxanne lose the women's title due to anxiety. Yeah, she like lost it, but then she competed in the ladder match still, and then like they didn't really go anywhere with that. Like that's what I meant by saying like it didn't really go anywhere. She just it happened, and then it was sort of okay, nothing really went past that. So where's this going to go? We shall see. For right now, I don't feel like it was a necessary thing. I think there's just other ways you can tell these stories. But maybe they turn it around and maybe they make it make some sense. Maybe Ridge Holland comes in here and just fake injuring all your favorites on his way to becoming the champion until Big E returns to NXT to win the NXT championship from Ridge Holland. You know, if that's the end game, are you mad at that? It's probably not.
Three ain't enough. 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5. I just feel like he's using HBK is using his big moments as like these random storyline beats, and it's not really working out as like in the moment it gets people talking. It is like you said, it's letting it play out, and in a lot of cases we're not seeing it play out in very worthwhile ways. Roxanne Perez is the big example coming out of that. She loses her title. She she has anxiety, whatever it is. And then since then she's been floundering. And we talked about it, a couple weeks ago, that it feels like we're just going to do Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez for the title at one point, but like, we're going to get there. Maybe it's Stand and Deliver. And I've been saying this since, 2 years ago, who knows, but that was the NXT main event. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it and see where your brain was at.
My brain says it was unnecessary.
How dare your brain say those things? Drew McIntyre and Seth from Monday. This was a good promo. We keep saying this again. Drew McIntyre he's not a heel. We're doing the babyface heel shades of gray. Even Seth said some shit that put him into bad guy territory. This was good stuff. Drew McIntyre essentially saying, I need this title. This is validation for a lot of negative stuff that's been happening in my life and a lot of things that have happened with my family. I need this title to prove that this was all worth it and this is all the way it should be. And Seth basically retorting and being like, I don't give a shit about your life. So what'd you think of this promo? Because it was a really solid interaction between Drew and Seth going into day one.
Seth is like, I got a kid. I got a wife back there who's doing really well. I don't know what your problem is, buddy. First off, I hope, I think Sean mentioned that like there was some truths being spoken in Drew McIntyre's promo. So I hope Drew is good, and I hope things are good with him with that. Drew continues to do great work. Seth continues to do great work. I'm very much looking forward to this match at day one. And I will continue to say it. I think Drew is going to win. And maybe it's not even a transitional thing, because I think Seth just wins it back. I think Drew is going to win and get that validation. And then Seth will end up winning it back from him. but I don't think you can keep having Drew fail. Like, he's failed so much. I don't think Drew McIntyre could just continue to be a failure. I don't think that is this is what I talked about with the Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland. Like, I don't think Hangman can come out and just call this man a failure, and then he fail again. And it was Swerve. He won, so he wasn't a failure. Like, it feels like Drew is continuing to say, like, I'm questioning if this is worth it. My sacrifice. I failed at WrestleMania. I failed at Clash at the Castle. I failed at Crown Jewel. Is he just gonna fail again on day one? It's like, yeah, you big dumb dork failure. I think he's gonna win.
Maybe he should go back to NXT and beat up everybody there, and then not be a failure, and then injure Ilya Dragunov. And anyway, okay, just for you, I'll stop it. The story with Drew is being told in a way that I kind of agree with you. You do almost need to give him that victory. However, you have a world championship that is still new. This is the first champion and the first reign. Do you set this title up as one that has a big reign, a long-standing reign to create importance?
They've done that with Seth. Seth has held this title since this summer. He's had it for 6 months now, right?
It'll be almost 6 months, yes, and that's good. But then you are also looking at the other side of it, where, and I'm not saying he has to hold it for 3 years, but we've got Roman Reigns, who's over 1,200 days at this point. I'm not advocating for this to be a super duper long reign, but it's like, is this long enough? I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate to myself as to why maybe it has been long enough, and that's because Seth has been putting the title on the line and wrestling actively throughout 2023, both on PLE and on Raw. So there is reason to say that the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw is important enough to have someone lose it and have a new champion on the first of the year. That would be a moment. And you're right. That would be putting Seth back into chase mode. Drew can be a real asshole about it, and Seth can come after Drew maybe as early as the Rumble.
That's what I said last week. I think Drew wins. I think Seth probably gets it back at the Rumble. Maybe he does it. Maybe Seth goes into the Rumble, and here's a monkey wrench for everybody. What if Drew wins? Who knows where Drew is going to go after that? Seth enters the Rumble. Seth wins the Rumble. Seth goes after Roman. What if Roman and Seth is the Mania match? I don't think they capitalized enough on that, by the way. They had that match at Rumble, which was, the story was really good, and then it ended in a DQ, and then they never touched on it again, except Seth in like interviews. Like, I think there is a real story to be told between Seth and Roman. I don't think this is where they're going to go, by the way, because they've set up so much with Seth and Punk and everything, but let's just throw stuff out there.
So I don't hate what you're saying, and I do agree to a certain degree, but it's still Cody. It's still Cody is that guy. He is the only white meat baby face that you have, like completely white meat. There is on the top. There's no one else like him. Like, Seth is saying things that Cody would never say. He wouldn't say, "I don't give a shit about your family."
Yeah, because he's not a big old dork like Cody.
But that's the thing. Cody is a big old dork, and that's what people love about him right now. It's
Seth didn't get a rubber chicken thrown at him at WrestleMania.
Did Seth win his match at WrestleMania?
Yeah, beat Logan Paul.
So there you go. No chickens needed. Logan Paul lost. Seth won. So case in point, you've got. And again, I don't count Sami Zayn right now because he's not on the show. I'm talking actively featured wrestlers. You've got Seth Rollins. Or sorry, not Seth Rollins. You got Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is the guy that everyone is like, you're cheering unabashedly for, and he is the dork that everyone wants to win.
His father was an inbred.
Did you say the you are?
Yeah.
Oh, the Grammarites had a good time with that. It was fun. Anyway.
No, I think Drew wins day one. I think Seth gets it back at the Rumble. And then I still think we're going Seth and Punk at the Rumble, or at Mania, however you get there. we've clouded these long reigns with like Roman and MJF have clouded brains of like every title needs to have a long reign type of thing. Like you can use the title to finish stories in other ways. So I saw somebody mention of Drew winning and then Damian cashing in. Yeah, that makes some sense to me. I don't know. Priest doesn't really feel like that guy is sort of my issue right
No, he
now.
doesn't. He's too busy having yucks with our truth, and it's
Yeah,
great.
but that, I mean, look,
It
that
rules. It rules.
Yeah.
It objectively rules. But like, he's not serious about catching in. He's more serious about leading or being the guy in the Judgment Day when everyone else, well, not everyone, when Rhea's like, no, you're not, you're my bitch. That's like, the story is not right now about Damian Priest's ascent with Money in the Bank. It is about Damian Priest and the Judgment Day and their problems or lack thereof, whatever you want to call it, or being really pissed at the Creeds after the main event, whatever that was. So yeah, the Damian Priest thing is that, yeah, there's nothing on the table for him that makes sense right now in cashing in that briefcase.
Oh, I mean, just cashing in wants to screw over Drew after Drew wins the title. Drew finishes his story and then Priest just comes in and screws him over, and then Drew is going after Priest. And maybe that's the Rumble match. Maybe it's Drew and Priest, and maybe Drew gets the title back then. Okay, then where's it going for Mania with Drew? Like, there's a lot of options. I think, me personally, the option is Drew winning day one, Seth getting it back, Rumble, and then Seth and Punk at Rumble. That's what I would do personally.
They still have 6 months left on that tarmac, Jeff Valley Driver. I'm just letting you know. They've got a long. You can change Priest on a dime and make him more of a killer than ever. So you got time. I think again, and this is another thing about like the long title reign situation is that we have become accustomed, like you said, you mentioned MJF is over a year, Roman Reigns is 1,200 days. Gunther is another good example of this. He's well over a year at this point. Maybe it is okay to have a world championship that finally changes hands, and that could potentially be hot potatoed. I'm not saying 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, but do a 1-2, do a go to Drew and then go back to Seth in time for WrestleMania to set up the Punk thing. If you want to add some drama to the CM Punk Seth Rollins story, you can have the title be kind of in the middle, but not there. And then have Drew be absolutely beside himself when he doesn't get the main event because Seth Rollins won it back at, let's say, Elimination Chamber. Or, let's say Seth wins it back in Perth, and then that night CM Punk wins Elimination Chamber. Now, all of a sudden, we've set that match for WrestleMania in Perth, and that's a huge moment. The two of them kind of face each other down at the end of Elimination Chamber. The new champion, quote unquote, Seth Rollins winning it back, and CM Punk having just outlasted everyone in the chamber. That's a moment. That's something that you can go off the air with, and a big like, oh my God, this match is going to be in a month, and that's a big moment.
Go off the air at 7 a.m. in the morning with that match. With that down.
That show does start at like 4 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. It's an early one. Everybody get ready for me to complain a lot as it comes up. But yeah, this
is also a very funny and accurate point.
I mean, yeah, that's probably true too. Like, you don't need not every title reign needs to be this long establishing title reign. They've done a good job with Seth. He's had it for basically half the year now. A lot of title defenses, a lot of good title defenses. He's helped establish that. Yeah, I think CM Punk, his promo helped establish the world, that Seth's title as well. I think the work Drew's doing right now is further establishing this title as being important. You don't need a 1-year reign to be like, this makes the title important. You make the title important by, one, who has the title, what they're doing with the title, and two, who is chasing the title and how they feel about the title as well. And they've done a good job with that.
Yeah. Let's hit a couple of super chats here. Will Chisholm says, I think they're using R-Truth to help turn Damian Priest babyface because it feels like he actually likes Truth. And we talked about this on Monday. Everybody likes R-Truth.
He literally said last week that he didn't like Truth. He's like, you're a funny guy. Everybody like, and then he attacked R-Truth.
Yeah, and then he decided that I like this court jester of a man. He's funny.
Yeah, I guess so. But
well, it's because you've got JD McDonough's like bottom of the barrel. Like he's so far, he's under the barrel, and then R-Truth, and then Damian Priest. So like, if you're making fun of JD McDonough, then you are Damian Priest's best friend. So R-Truth gets to do that.
People are saying, what's the middle ground between year-long title reigns and hot potato title reigns? I think your definition of hot potato has to be sort of defined there, because if you think that Drew winning at day one and then Seth getting it back at Rumble is hot potato, then I don't know if there is a great middle ground. I see hot potato as like Drew winning at day one and then Priest winning at cashing in, and then Seth winning at Rumble. That's a hot potatoing a title. Like just
hot potatoing is Charlotte Flair winning the Women's World Championship at what was it, Hell in a Cell 2016, and then Sasha Banks winning it back that Monday night on Raw, and then 2 weeks later they go back to Charlotte. And hot potatoing infers that you are going back and forth multiple times over a very short span of time. This isn't hot potatoing. This is, and someone else mentioned it, these are credible world champions who are also former world champions and currently credible opponents to the world champion himself. So for me, I don't think, Val brought up the hot potatoing with Sasha and Charlotte. So credit to her. The point being, there's no hot potatoing in this conversation we're having. Hot potato would be Drew drops it to Seth on Monday the 1st, and then on Monday the 8th, Seth wins it back, and then on the 7 days after the 8th, because my math is awful, the 15th, you would then have CM Punk suddenly win the title, and then we go into the Rumble and Seth wins it back from Punk somehow, because we're just hot potatoing and hot shotting a WrestleMania main event. So that would be hot potato. What we're really talking about here is just like, it's a quick exchange of the belts, but it's done so with a storyline purpose and not just because we're trying to pop a rating. Like January 1st show being made to be a big show, they're popping a rating, but they're doing it because it's the right time to do it. You don't have another pay-per-view for the rest of the year. SmackDown is also doing a special on that Friday. They're calling it New Year's Revolution. Spoilers, but that is something that they're promoting too, because they want, and this is fine, once in a while, you have a big themed episode of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash or AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming or AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen sorry, I'm going to stop. But the point is, it's okay to have specials. With the AEW example, by the way, it makes sense because they were doing quarterly pay-per-views at the time. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's okay to do it.
Yeah. As long as it makes sense, then I'm okay with it. And some of the stuff, I mean, it might burn a little. Like,
stop it. Not having sex with the hot potato.
Wait, it might burn. That's all.
Stop it. The robot can also burn because the robots can overheat. Why did I bring this back up?
Can the robot overheat? Is this confirmed?
I mean, it's something that, listen, just like a Tesla, Teslas are known for crashing. So I'm sure that this will be the same thing.
You see that video where them dudes were like kicking this car and like,
there's plenty of videos like that. You're gonna have to be more
specific. But they were kicking they were kicking the Elon truck. You know what I'm talking about? I gotta like pull this up. They were throwing like the shittiest looking kicks in the world on this. Are we gonna get copyright if I
I wouldn't do it. Yeah, because if it has one of that dork's stuff on it, he's probably like, I want the money from it.
But we're doing this on Twitter. Like, this show is also on Twitter.
Let's not, because he's not monetizing from it. He's not making any money from it. You put his stuff up there, and he's gonna want a stupid cut of it. He's a dork. Forget that dork. $40 billion in the hole from it. Anyway, let's move on. Anything else?
The Cybertruck. Yeah, they were kicking the Cybertruck, like throwing the worst kicks I've ever seen.
Buy a Rivian if you want a good truck and I'm not even a truck guy. If you want a good truck that also has fuel efficiency and electric, buy a Rivian. I don't care what the price is. Go buy a Rivian. That's the truck that people are buying. I'm not even a truck guy. I live in the city. I use public transit. Buy a friggin' Rivian. Those are the good ones.
I've never heard of that truck.
They've come out of nowhere, and every single like car tech person is like a Rivian. Rivian is the name of the brand, is the name of the company that makes them. So buy the Rivian trucks. There you go.
Back in my day, we had a Ford or a Chevy, and it was all about towing and trucking and hauling. We didn't care about none of this kicking and throwing stuff. But I guess America has changed.
No wonder you're not a truck guy. The idea of a truck is to be extremely wasteful. That is a very valid point. But again, like $73,000. You're gonna go double that for a Cybertruck?
You ever notice
that works?
You ever notice, and maybe this is for the Americans only. Maybe this ain't a thing in Canada.
Oh, I'm sure it is if you go deep into the north.
Americans back me up on this. You ever notice people in like white trucks, like white, like pickup style trucks, just the biggest assholes on the road? Like, maybe it's just me. Every encounter I have with a white, like big style pickup truck, just they're gonna cut you off, they're gonna pull out in front of you, they're gonna ride up on you, every single one of them, no matter what.
It's a Canadian thing too, and they got their dualies, their dual wheel bullshit in the back. It's like someone else, Y Syllable, saying, and the black ones out here. Take the color out. It's just most truck drivers. Sorry if you're a truck driver. A lot of y'all are just assholes. I'd like to think that a lot of them are not watching this show because we're not talking about stuff that a truck driver, the stereotype would talk about. But Jeff Valley drivers, like, that's a thing here too. It's just a thing. People suck.
All of them, man. They got these big trucks and they just think, I can cut you out, cut you off and just drive however I want. It's like, I'm going to get out of the car and I'm going to kick your truck and see how it goes. Yeah, the lifted trucks, like, oh man. It is very much a meme. I brought that up with my wife as well, and it's just like, they just drive like assholes. I don't like them.
Yeah, because they got a big ass truck, so they're kings of the road or queens of the road. Let's give everyone a chance here to be
the same size. If I take a screwdriver to the tires,
well, they're still pretty big at that point. They're obviously lifted. Will Chisholm also says a super chat saying, why do I have a feeling somehow, some way they're going to put Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez back in the tag team? Going back to our NXT conversation, they very well might, and then they'll probably split them right back up after they lose a tag team title shot against the new colorful, color-friendly, draped in gold Casey Squared. What'd you think of that? You got it, Jeremy. You won.
Oh, they like gold, they like colors, they like music, whatever. Like, it was a short match. The titles, Chelsea did her best with the what she was given. Are they gonna do anything with them? We shall see. I don't know. What do you want me to say about this? This women's tag team division has been like nothing, and then they won the titles. Okay, cool. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships are on the line as Piper Niven and Chelsea Green defend against Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They love colors. They love music. Can Kaden Carter and Katana Chance put their love of colors and music aside to win gold and prove they love the color gold while listening to their own music?
They do indeed love the color gold.
You can tell just how, like, I had nothing going there, and I just was like, I love gold, and they're going to listen to their own music. Like, what? That's all we know about this team. They showed the same video packages for 20 weeks, and then they won the titles. Good on them.
Yay.
Maybe we'll go to NXT and defend them there. They didn't win a lot of matches in NXT, so they need to go get redemption arc for KC Squared.
Exactly.
I like them. They seem nice. Like, I hope they do well with them.
I'm sure they do a lot of really great party drugs and enjoy the music, and that's great for them. Congratulations to the new women's tag team champions.
We should have them on the show. We'll all pop a bunch of Molly before our interview, and then we'll see where the interview takes us. What do you think, Joel?
I think that's a wonderful idea, and nothing bad would come from that pitch.
You ever done Molly, Joel?
No, I have not.
What's the hardest drug you've done?
I had an edible during the pandemic, and that's about it.
That's it.
I'm a dad. I don't have time for edible.
All
I was only a drinker until like the last 5 years, and then I just kind of cut it all back because I was working with bands and I would be on the road drinking, and like that was it. That was all. And then I was like, one day I was like, oh, I'm done drinking. I don't want to have a bottle of wine like this. This is gross. And then I stopped. And then, you know, when we got, it's a lot of caffeine. It's Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, and G Fuel. Yeah, I don't know. I drink. I don't drink much. I've never been one to smoke. I'm just not a drug guy. That's just me.
You see that video of the kid, like he's on his phone and he's like fake smoking on his phone. There's like an app.
Yeah. Everyone's like, we're doomed. And then our friend Darnell was like, they used to give candy cigarettes to children.
Yeah. That thing, everyone thought they were so cool with their candies, myself included, by the way. Like the candy cigarette, those things are good too. Granted, it was just like pure sugar mashed into a chalky cocaine, chalky cigarette. Like it was really good though. Like it tasted really good.
Yeah, because of course it did. It was candy.
Not all candy tastes good, Joel. What's your favorite candy?
Not candy corn. I like peanut M&Ms the most.
Peanut M&Ms are good.
Yeah, that's my go-to. And also, and of course, Reese's peanut butter cups. People know that. I still have a couple of half-pound cups sitting in my fridge. Shout out to Ryan Sullivan, who has purchased those for me. Let's talk about MJF's contract. I know we asked Andrew Zarian, and then we're going to kind of curtail that into Holiday Bash and preview Dynamite. MJF, House of Wrestling said, yeah, he resigned. We think he resigned. We've been told he resigned. And then MJF was like, I didn't do that. What are you talking about? I'm gonna go finish my contract. I'm gonna go take some time off. I love AEW, but I haven't re-signed my contract. Jeremy, you've been reading and reporting on some of this. Where do you sit on this whole situation? You have been writing some of the banter and articles that have come from this.
First, let's clear up the correct order of operations here, Joel.
By all means.
MJF did an interview with Jimmy Trina, sports media podcast, sports illustrated media podcast, and was asked about it. And he said, nope, haven't resigned. Love AEW, but I've never lied. I haven't resigned. And then House of Wrestling reported the WWE thought is he has resigned, maybe even going back to Double or Nothing last year. I don't know. They dropped the bidding war of 2024 stuff. He's in a lot of promotional material, but then they've also like tried to remove him from promotional material so they didn't give away this stuff. I will just say, I don't think he would be this featured if he has not re-signed, and they would leave it up to the final day of his contract before actually like re-signing him or anything like that. I do think he has. I think that they had to drop the story because it's a heel story to be like, yeah, might leave, go to WWE with this title, and he's a baby face. I think that's why they have dropped it. And I think that we will see MJF on AEW TV for years to come.
So I think he's resigned. I think they're going to bring back the bidding war 2024 starting tonight, though. I think that because he's now put it out there and it's caught some attention, I think they might play it into the last week or two of build towards World's End. I think they're just to do it. I don't think he's leaving AEW. I don't. I think most people who are in the know don't. And that's the one thing about AEW is that most of the fans are in the know online types who might not be as invested in this, knowing that it feels like MJF is going to stick around. But I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do this.
We'll see. We shall see.
This
I'm
is
not.
a good point, by the way. TK's done this twice. Cody and Mox both holding titles while off contract. Now, a little bit different, but let's just take this in a storyline way. Cody was holding the TNT title on his way out. Mox was off contract, or he got re-signed around the time, didn't he?
Nah, he said that there was the interview. I'd have to get his like exact quote, but he did say that like he was technically like not really under a deal before he resigned. It was when the Punk injury happened and he won the title.
It's when he did that with Renee, didn't he?
Yeah,
that was the "I'm sick of people in high school" reference.
Yeah, that ruled.
That did rule. But yeah, so again, just worth pointing out, like for those who knows, maybe MJF is the devil. There you go.
See, I'm kind of I thought about that. I still think it's Adam Cole, but I did think of, because they haven't brought it up, and maybe they do bring it up tonight. I did think like World's End closes, MJF revealed as the devil, and he's like, by the way, haven't signed a contract, peace out. And that's his whole thing. I did think about that's how they do it with the reveal, and also with, hey, MJF hasn't re-signed.
If you want to get weird with the MJF stuff and the devil, they brought him back because he agreed to terms that came about. MJF did with Tony Khan to bring him back after he had called him a mark and blah, 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 blah. So MJF could do it again, be like, I'm the devil and this time I'm out. See ya, bye. And then he takes a week or two off. We focus on new TNT champion Adam Copeland for a couple of weeks. And then MJF comes back. What's the next pay-per-view is Revolution. And that's in early March. That's the 3rd of March. So you could take a couple of weeks and start building around Sting and his final match, and give MJF the time off, which, by all accounts, he seems to need, given his injuries and the reporting on those injuries. So you could have him win and then walk off and be like, yeah, I'm the devil. Problem is, you walk off and he's not there. Someone's got to do the devil's bidding, or someone's got to tell the story of the devil while the devil is out convalescing.
That's where Adam Cole comes in.
Baby, he's also still injured.
He is, but like, just the devil goes away, and we don't have him for a little while, and we don't have a champion off television for a little while.
Which, again, there are so many titles in that company. This is something that you can get away with, depending on how you. There you go. You can spend the time building the Continental Classic, the Triple Crown, as a major championship that main events the shows, and make it a big title. You've got the International Championship. For a long time, that was at the forefront while the World Champion was doing the Adam Cole stuff. People like that. You do have, again, this is one of the very few benefits to having so many championships, is that you can spend some time building one while another one is off the show. So I can expect to see that. Maybe MJF does win on World's End and then blows a kiss to the audience and hightails it. Or he gets his, lights on, lights off, and he's got the mask and it's him all along, brother.
I hope they don't do the blow the kiss and then leave thing. Like, we know that what that's a reference to. We just don't really need to do all of that. Like, okay, we get it. We get it. Like, I don't know. I agree with Jeff Driver. This is the true fact here. Just have Samoa Joe win.
The man deserves it. He's, if nothing else, he's consistent. He is very consistent. He's good on the mic, great in the ring. He's great on the mic, great in the ring. He's someone that you can absolutely build around. But also, he's a guy who, for some, they're going to sit there and be like, oh, he's this old and blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't matter. You've got a big pay-per-view coming up that's being billed as Sting's last match. And guess what they're doing? You're almost selling out that venue, and we're still a couple months away. So the age doesn't matter. It's the consistency and the star power.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff Driver. Like, with Punk not there, it doesn't hit the same anymore. Like, doing a Punk reference when Punk is like left and everything that has happened, it just feels like eh. And then you give the Punk fans of like, see, they can't stop talking about him. They can't stop doing stuff. And it's just like, we don't need to do any of that. We just don't.
Y'all are going to hate it when MJF retains the title and immediately Nick Nemeth comes out and he's like, I'm here to show the world that I'm It should have been me. And then that's going to be the next title match at Revolution. Why Soulable sent us a super chat saying, thanks for all you guys do as usual. Thank you. What do you guys think is a good New Year's resolution for all the major promotions? I hope AEW focuses on rotating talent more effectively. I think kind of what I just said about the titles was kind of a New Year's resolution that I can see them aim in on. And yeah, that I kind of agree with the focusing on making sure talent are more effectively used and just putting your foot down more in the backstage. That's what I would like to see more of.
My New Year's resolution for AEW is to stay alive because I hear they're on death's door.
Have you considered a reset?
To restore the feeling as well. I would like them to restore the feeling. That is my New Year's resolution for
now we have
AEW.
to pay them. Now we have to pay them.
What?
Now we have to pay them because you'd use the thing.
No, their trademark was something else. I won't say it, so I won't have to pay them. It was not restore the feeling. So
I thought it was, but anyway, Go ahead.
Nope. Sorry, Joel. You should pay more attention to things.
I'm not doing that.
For WWE, my New Year's resolution is also to stay alive because I hear they are on death's door as well because they have let CM Punk back and he's going to ruin everything and he's going to cause a lot of trouble and that's not good. And they also need to stay alive. I would like wrestling to live. That's my New Year's resolution for all companies. Let wrestling live. And I don't want wrestling to be under attack anymore. That would not be good either.
That is the actual statement. That was what was copyrighted. Can I borrow a feeling?
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling.
Right, stop it. Other companies. My Soulable also mentioned, he did mention other promotions. He just gave AEW as his first. He did mention he's asking TNA and New Japan. I don't know if I can do New Japan because I kind of
I would like them to stay alive because they are possibly losing a bunch of talent and people seem very down on New Japan right now.
Don't worry, we've got Yota Tsuchi. He's great, but I mean, you got to start building your talent. TNA, I want them to spend the time building the legitimacy of TNA again because they built the legitimacy of Impact. And for Christ's sake, I hope that they find a platform that catapults them forward again and that they gain the trust of more mainstream fans. It's one of the things that's very difficult about sometimes doing the Impact and TNA stuff and talking about it with people. There are a lot of people who are still stuck on the way the company ran 5-10 years ago. And there's a general like fool me once, shame on me type of feeling. And I hope that people give Impact another chance to see that it's a different company with a different set of owners and a different kind of feeling. They have restored their own feeling. So that's something I'm hoping for Impact is that they find the mainstream audience again and they invest in that.
Did you see Scott D'Amore's comments of we're on the goal line of signing a game-changing free agent? He compared it or set it up. He set up the quote by mentioning Kurt Angle and Sting. And there's another person that I forget who was Christian Cage. Like that's who he set it up with.
One of these things is not like the other.
They're all, dude. Christian, which one
did amazing work. Christian Cage did amazing work. But I'm just saying on the caliber of when you mentioned, okay, Sting, Angle, and Christian in a TNA reference, 100%. Sting, Angle, and Christian in like a. It's weird sometimes putting Christian in that mix.
Why are you such a Christian Cage hater?
Well, because he's Canadian, but he tells everyone he lives in Tampa.
Christian was huge at that. Maybe I'm just too much of a Christian Cage fan, but like he was huge at that time because nobody was like jumping like that. Everyone, like even Sting, bless Sting, but like he was just a WCW guy who was like, yeah, I'm really going to WWE. Let me go over to TNA and just see what's happening. Like that's what it was. It was just, hey, here's the WCW cast-offs or indie guys, now going to TNA. Like Christian was that dude who like actually was like, you know what? Let me go over here and do something and try to build something.
You're right.
That was
And
big.
he took a chance on himself. And I don't know if you know the story that went around about it. Christian calling Vince and the travel, like calling the travel. What was it? It was Christian was calling WWE Travel to try and get a first class seat on a flight to a show. And Travel basically said no. And then when he asked Vince, Vince told Christian, no, that's saved for top talent, for superstar, like for main event talent. And that's when Christian made the decision that he was going to go to TNA, like take a chance on himself. Because meanwhile, his best pal, Adam Copeland, was getting those first class seats in WWE.
So let's not dismiss Christian here, is all I'm saying.
You're right. It's just sometimes I think about the three of them, and maybe it's just the Hall of Fame stuff. Maybe that's all that it is, because the 2 out of 3 are in that Hall of Fame. Christian will go in 100%.
It's a fake Hall of Fame, Joel.
You're right. It is. They're all fake.
Can you tell me where it's located and I can visit it?
Yes, it's in Titan Towers in elevator number 2.
It's a fake Hall of Fame.
What about the Impact one?
That one's fake too. All these Hall of Fames are fake.
I feel like that's on like Scott D'Amore's fridge.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like written with a Sharpie, and it's just put up on the fridge.
I think I don't know who it's gonna be, who they're getting. My expectation is maybe like Ziggler, which is good. You know, not huge to me, but I'm sure a lot of fans will be excited. But you know, maybe they get Mercedes. Maybe that's who it is. Like I'm not expecting that high. Maybe it's Okada. I'm not expecting that high. Ronda, like that's fine. Like there's some luster off after the WWE run, but look, she looked good in the ROH match and stuff. But that's I don't know. I don't know about that, but you know, he's hyping it like it's something big. So look, man, if it's Goldberg, that's big. Remember when people thought Goldberg, when they brought in Kurt Angle, they thought it was Goldberg because they just saw the bald head in the video package, and like there's the Goldberg chants from the crowd, and then there was Kurt Angle, and people got even more excited. Like, oh shit, Kurt Angle's here.
Shelton Benjamin's a good shout, by the way, from Jeff Valley Driver.
Shelton Benjamin, I like him. Like, even Mustafa
I don't think he's
Ali.
the guy. Yeah, Mustafa Ali would be a good one. I'm hoping it's someone that's a little bit younger. No shade at Shelton Benjamin, but it's someone that hopefully you can build around for a little while. Mercedes, we just saw a super chat. People would act fake mad. Yeah, it's true. Some people would get a certain way, but it's not like y'all were watching it in the first place. So what are you going to do? Like, would Mercedes bring numbers? Sure. I bring this up a lot. When Trinity came over to TNA, to Impact Wrestling, a lot of people were like, oh, is this another WWE girl? But no, because she didn't have the singles run in WWE that like people remember. This has now become a singles run to remember because she's having very good matches. She's having matches that are also very different, and she's having the time of her life. She's been very welcomed and well respected in that locker room. So it's different. Would I like it to be a female talent? Yeah, I would. Do I want it to be Ronda Rousey? No, I don't. There's nobody else that I could see. I saw someone mention Matt Riddle, and I hope not.
I got it.
Who is it?
It's MJF.
Finally.
MJF is that this is where he's gonna go. Oh, I see people in the chat said it. Shit, y'all, we're on the same wavelength though. Everybody, you're with me. You're with me here. That it's gonna be MJF. What if it is a working agreement to send MJF over there for a little while?
I mean, it's not the first time they've done that. They've had special guests show up. Again, this is the one benefit of Impact that I talk about over and over again. I'm going to get used to calling it TNA in the new year, I promise. But this is the one benefit that they have, is that they work 3 times a month. So the rest of the time, like, they tape in batch. They do a live show once a month. Everything else is just pre-taped, and it's all done on those day or two that you're there. And then you're off and doing your own thing. Could you send somebody from AEW? 100%. Could WWE potentially send someone? Sure, why not? Depending who it is. That's part of the, that's part of the best of the TNA Impact world. is that you're featured weekly, but you're taped, so it's all taken care of in quick succession.
What if it's MJF? He's just gonna come in and just like beat everybody, just like Omega did.
And I would hate that. And I would hate that. What if it is someone from New Japan? What if it's a Yoda Tsuji? Is that big enough? Is that people are not going to know?
It's Sami Callihan.
The draw. I am ready to be back here at TNA Wrestling.
How mad are you going to be? How mad are you going to be if it's Sami Callihan, Joel?
I feel like I would cry. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen Sami Callihan return to Impact Wrestling after years off.
What if it's the real Impact World Champion who never lost the title, Joel? Who never lost the Impact title? Who may or may not still have possession of the Impact title because they did not mail it back to them?
Warhorse? No, who is it? Who are you talking about? I don't remember this story.
Wow. Anybody in the chat? You got it? Got it? It's not Danhausen. It's not Danhausen. Anybody in the chat? I'm not gonna say anything. What if it's Brian? He wants to work for TNA once. Danielson's just like, yeah, I got to wrestle in this under the TNA banner just one time, at the very least.
So I can tell them I did it.
Yeah. I think Jeff Valley Drivers figured it out. He just didn't want to say it. Yeah, no. He got it. Yeah.
No, we've completely erased her from our memory. We don't talk about it. They brought her up with the Mexico tapings. I was like, what do you do? They didn't tag her. And I was like, what are you doing here? Why are we doing this? Yeah, we're not doing that.
Nope. She never lost the title, Joel.
No. More likely she joins the Marines. Anyway.
Bro, if it's Jeff Jarrett, we're cooking again, baby. TNA is a fully back, the feeling restored. All these other terms that I'm probably too old to use. It's all good. And cross the line, baby.
No, it's carrying cross the line. That's what it's
going to be. AJ Styles just coming back and just doing like some one-off stuff. That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be young.
Eric Young. I mean, he's back. Like, but did he die again? He's still part of.
He's still there. Okay. Once they did this stuff with the design, it kind of like finished after that. Eric Young then teamed in the UK.
Oh, fucking hell. If it is this man, we are all the way back. Yes. All the way.
Maybe it's Dave LaGreca. He got signed.
I'm going to be disappointed if it's not Monty Brown.
Wow.
Anybody else is a disappointment.
You'll be angry on the internet?
Yeah. Anybody else is a disappointment. If you can't get me Monty Brown, what are we doing?
Let's preview Dynamite. Holiday Bash.
We have a great episode of AEW Dynamite tonight live, 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS.
Oh, you just froze. That's great. I thought that you were looking at the card and got confused. Now you go. Now you're back, Tony.
We have a great episode of AEW Dynamite live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS. It's the final week of league action in the AEW Continental Classic. We have 3 great matches for everybody in the AEW Continental Classic. Mark Briscoe takes on Jay Lethal. Both men are looking for a win in the AEW Continental Classic. This match, both men have been eliminated from potentially making the finals, but they're still facing each other for respect and for bragging rights. Can one man pick up a victory and actually win in the AEW Continental Classic between Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal, a rivalry renewed between these two men? Plus, Swerve Strickland, he needs a win to stay alive in the AEW Continental Classic Gold League. If he wins, it's possible he'll be in the finals. If he loses against Roosh, then Swerve Strickland is going to need a lot of help to make it to the finals of the AEW Continental Classic. The other match, AEW Continental Classic, in the Gold League, Jon Moxley against Jay White. Jon Moxley just needs a win or a draw, and he is in the finals of the AEW Continental Classic Gold League Finals. If Jay White wins, he will become into the finals, depending on what Swerve Strickland does. Jay White can also get a draw, and if Swerve Strickland loses, then Jay White gets into the finals. There's a lot of scenarios, everybody. Tune in tonight, live, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite. Excalibur will give you all these scenarios that I'm sure won't confuse anybody, and it'll complain about too much math and whatnot going on in the AEW Continental Classic. Plus, in the women's division, Saraya takes on Rio, with the winner getting an AEW Women's Championship match at AEW World's End against Toni Storm. Who will punch their ticket to AEW World's End to face Toni Storm? Will it be former Women's Champion Saraya? Or will it be former Women's Champion Rio? Tune in tonight, live, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, TBS, to see who will face Toni Storm and walk the red carpet next to, beside, behind, after Toni Storm at AEW World's End. All that, and Roderick Strong will take on Commander, because Commander made fun of Roderick Strong's neck, and Roderick Strong is back to prove he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. Commander, coming off a great match at ROH Final Battle, one of the final two men in the ROH TV title, Survival of the Fittest. Him and Kyle Fletcher had a great one-on-one contest with Kyle Fletcher winning to win the ROH TV title, the vacated title. Who was that title vacated by, Joel Pearl? It was vacated by Samoa Joe. We'll hear from the former ROH TV champion, Samoa Joe, live tonight, AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern. He will also speak alongside him.
Wait for it. Wait for it. He's back.
What will Samoa Joe have to say at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on TBS? We'll find out. We'll also find out what MJF will have to say. We've not seen MJF since he was laid out, presumably, by the Devil's Men backstage 2 weeks ago on AEW Dynamite. That episode also aired at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on TBS. MJF was taken out. Was it Hangman Page? Samoa Joe thinks so. But last week on AEW Dynamite, live, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS, Hangman Page was taken out by the Devil's Men. We saw the Devil get out of a car. Who is the Devil? Maybe MJF knows. Maybe he will provide more insight. Maybe Samoa Joe knows. Maybe he will provide more insight. The only way you will know, fine folks of AEW fans and freedom of all ages, is tuning in tonight live, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite on TBS. All of that, and we have a 5-minute overrun thanks to our great partners at Warner Brothers Discovery and the Turner Networks on TBS. We will be going until 10:05, at the very earliest 10:05. We might go to 10:10. Who knows? All I know is our great partners at Warner Brothers Discovery have given us a 5-minute overrun, and they will allow us to go a little bit more because we were the #1 rated show on cable last Wednesday. The #1 show in all of cable was AEW Dynamite. Thanks to you, the great AEW fans, for tuning in to AEW Dynamite live, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS. Justified, this is awesome chance.
What is the tournament for tots?
Man, that's just what they're doing. Toys for Tots, dude. They're giving like $1 million worth of toys to people, and so they're calling it like Tournament for Tots.
I get it. It's just very strange that suddenly this week is the tournament for tots while they're in the middle of the other one. That was the one thing. I know people get confused about the math. For me, it was like, what was the difference between the tournament for tots and the tournament that's like, what is the Continental Classic tournament for tots? Is there a tots? Are we doing an AEW Continental Classic tots title?
First, that would rule. Here's what we need, though. We need kids.
Baby fights.
Yeah. We need kids, like a Mark Briscoe kid, a Jay Lee. Like they're just portraying the wrestlers in this tournament, and like they're doing move for move what the wrestlers are doing, like in like a mini ring on the stage or something. Like we need like little 8-year-olds out here doing this. All right, I'm for the kid that gets the Moxley that has got to cut himself open. I mean, that's probably like some type of violation. 8-year-olds bleeding all over the place, but like that's what we need. You want to do tournament for tots? The best thing in the world is when I go to like a hockey game and they do like the Mighty Mites, the little kids playing hockey during the intermission, or you go to a basketball game, it's the little kids playing basketball intermission.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I need little kids wrestling. And then they get mad at each other, start shooting on each other, get some shoot fights between these little 8-year-olds. That's what I want.
As long as they do a WLC.
That was one of the greatest matches of all time.
It was one of the greatest matches of all time. Anyway, we're going to be back on Friday.
No, everybody's saying little people. No,
children.
Legit kids.
Children. We're doing a children's fight league. That's what we're doing. CFL.
We need children out here doing this wrestling. Can you imagine the kid that's got to do like Mark Briscoe? Oh man, that would
got to take out 2 of those teeth right off the bat. Sorry, kiddo.
Rule so
Although,
much.
given the age, they might have already taken it. Anyway, not important. We'll be back on
Friday.
Friday.
Who is Roosh is just like knocking the shit out of people.
So angry. You're just picking the angriest kid that you can. Oh, they're going to be so angry.
Support children. Support. Yeah, I mean, you can support little people as well. Support everybody. Support robots who you may or may not be able to fuck.
Support us here on the channel by leaving a thumbs up on the way out and maybe subscribe to this channel. I don't know why anymore, but we drop content daily-ish, I guess. New episode of Bread Club dropped yesterday. I think it's time for lunch. And there's going to be new content throughout the week. Rob and Maggie on Friday. We're going to be back on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk more wrestling. And of course, hopefully not robots, but other things that we find. It's already a kids tournament. That's good stuff. Jeremy, anything else you want to plug before we get on out of here?
This fucking song annoys me so
Every
much.
year. That's right.
Oh, I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Jim Ross is back tonight. Did you see that? Did you hear about that?
Well, of course he is, because they're in Oklahoma. So they got to find a way to make a fool out of Jim Ross in his hometown.
Nah, they ain't gonna make a fool out of him.
You're right. They're not going to do they're not AEW doing a WWE thing. They would never. They're going to give him a watch, and then Roddy Strong's going to come out and he's going to be like, Jim Ross, and then they're going to do a thing with Commander and then the watch.
Do you think JR is like gonna call the action, or he's just gonna like come out and just like chill?
I think he's just going to come out and be like, hi, and then they're gonna give him a watch, and then that'll be it. That's it. And then it'll run into whatever comes up next in the segments.
I hope that Shea Gilgeous Alexander is there tonight. I hope Chet Holmgren is there, and so AEW can see what real superstars look like.
And I hope you'll join us again on Friday.
Do you know either of those people, Joel? Do you know who they are?
Chet Holmgren, a football player or a basketball player?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPERL. We'll be back Friday at 10 a.m. for more of this and all the other stuff. Go ahead. We'll see you then, ladies, gentlemen.
Fuck some robots, everybody.